Schönen guten Abend, Nekotama und vielleicht andere Menschen, die schon da sind und noch nichts geschrieben haben. Oder Menschen, die gleich noch dazukommen, wobei ich denen noch nicht guten Abend sagen sollte, bevor sie nicht auch da sind. Ja. Hi Styles, hi Styles. Ja, ich streame wieder. Also erstmal, ich bin überrascht, fast ein bisschen enttäuscht. Ich habe es gestern geschrieben auf dem Discord. Ich wollte eigentlich diese Woche ein Video aufnehmen. Wäre auch nur ein kleines Video gewesen. Ist nicht so schlimm, dass ich es verwerfe. Jetzt habe ich keine Zeit mehr. Jetzt habe ich andere wichtige Dinge zu tun. Ich bin aktuell noch im Stress ein bisschen mit Uni. Das ist blöd. Finde ich kacke. Das Ding ist, warum ich es nicht machen wollte, ist mehrere Sachen. Erstmal bin ich mit meiner Frisur unzufrieden, aber das bin ich immer noch. Aber die ist okay. I guess. Ich kann damit leben. Ich bin nicht sehr gut im Haare schneiden. Also ich gehe nicht mehr zur Friseurin seit Jahren. Aber ich habe mir die Haare jetzt vor ein paar Tagen wieder geschnitten. Bin ein bisschen... Vorne bin ich sehr unzufrieden. Ich habe sowas noch nie so kurz geschnitten und es gibt ein paar Haare, die auf jeden Fall ein bisschen komisch rumhängen. Aber es sieht ganz okay aus tatsächlich jetzt so von vorne, wenn ich mich nicht zu viel zur Seite drehe. Also so sieht es halt ein bisschen weird aus. Aber that's just how it is. Dann hatte ich aber auch plötzlich seit gestern, und das sieht man nicht, und das ist das Krasse, das ist der Grund, warum ich das Video nicht aufnehmen wollte, weil ich keinen Bock hatte, damit ein Video aufzunehmen. Aber man sieht es nicht. Mein Gesicht sieht voll normal aus. Weil hier einfach, das sieht man jetzt so ein ganz kleines bisschen, sieht man es nur in der Kamera, ist da so ein... Ich kann nicht den Finger richtig bewegen, weil es gespiegelt ist, aber so, nein, oh Gott. Da ist ein Strich, ein roter Strich ist da. Man sieht ihn nicht so wirklich, wie gesagt, aber der ist da und der sieht auch deutlich krasser aus, wenn ich mich im Spiel angucke, aber so in der Kamera sieht man ihn gar nicht. I don't know, it's magic. Also ich habe sogar ein bisschen Concealer und so drauf geklatscht, aber trotzdem sieht man es im Spiegel noch so, als hätte ich gar nichts damit gemacht und so. Also so würde man es nicht bemerken. Also vielleicht ein bisschen wird man es bemerken, wenn man wirklich hinguckt, aber ja, I don't know. Das fuckt mich ein bisschen ab, dass ich dafür mein Wochenende über den Haufen geworfen habe. Ist okay. Dafür verbringe ich dann ein bisschen mehr Zeit jetzt die Tage mit dem Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. Darüber werde ich dann ein Video machen, sobald ich durch bin. Sollte nicht mehr lange dauern. Sollte ich jetzt im Laufe der nächsten Woche hinkriegen und dann werde ich wahrscheinlich nächstes Wochenende das Video schreiben. Mal gucken, was ich damit mache. Aber irgendein Video werde ich dazu wohl machen. Weil der ist gut. Na, ist gut. Ist ein guter DLC. Ja, gefällt mir sehr. Ansonsten nächste Woche sowieso, weiß ich noch gar nicht, was ich werde Livestreamen. Es ist ein bisschen schwierig nächste Woche. Es fallen sehr viele Sachen auf einen Fleck. Also, weil Samstag kann ich nicht, da bin ich auf dem Japan-Tag. Das heißt, ich würde Freitag streamen. Freitag ist ein weirder Tag. Freitag ist der 12. Mai. Das ist erstens 2 Tage nach meinem Geburtstag. Das heißt, es wird mein Geburtstagsstream quasi. Also ich habe Mittwoch Geburtstag, 10. Mai. So als Hinweis übrigens, by the way. Zweitens habe ich jetzt gerade 2998 Abonnenten. Das heißt, ich werde wahrscheinlich nächste Woche die 3000 Abonnenten erreichen. Das heißt, es wird auch mein 3000 Abonnenten-Special-Stream. Außerdem kommt Freitag Tears of the Kingdom raus. Das heißt, I'm not sure what is gonna happen. Wird es mein Geburtstagsstream? Wird es mein 3000 Abonnenten-Special-Stream? Wird es ein Tears of the Kingdom-Stream? Alles gleichzeitig. I don't know. Ich wollte nicht noch ein Lied anfangen lassen eigentlich, glaube ich. Na doch, ist okay. Ich habe noch ein bisschen Stoff zu erzählen, denke ich. Habe ich? Bin ich jetzt fertig? I don't know, jedenfalls weiß ich nicht. Oder nichts, wir machen aber nächste Woche, vielleicht streamen wir aber nächste Woche einfach gar nicht, um euch zu trollen. Nein, ich werde auf jeden Fall nächste Woche streamen, habe ich fest geplant. Noch. I don't know. Weil ich würde halt gerne einfach nur einen Special Laber-Stream dazu machen. Das wäre so, was ich normalerweise dann machen würde, aber es ist halt am Tag, an dem Tears of the Kingdom rauskommt und ich will Tears of the Kingdom ja auch spielen. Und es würde sich schon gut anbieten, das dann an dem Tag auch zu streamen, you know? Schwierig. Aber das ist nur so am Rande. Außerdem in Other News, ich war auf einem Konzert, war gut. Weil, also die Band war La Dispute, das ist meine Lieblingsband, ist cool. Die habe ich das 4. Mal live gesehen, war immer cool. Aber das Ding ist, ich kannte die Vorband auch. Vorband war Pool Kids. Das ist eine sehr, sehr kleine Band, die wären niemals da alleine hingegangen. Weil die sind klein. Kommen aus Amerika, die kommen nicht einfach so hier hin. Aber die sind mitgekommen und ich war quasi der Einzige, also es gab mehr Leute, die die Band auf jeden Fall kannten, aber ich war der Einzige, zumindest in der ersten Reihe, der die Band kannte, offensichtlich. Und der alle Texte mitgesungen hat und ich wurde auf jeden Fall bemerkt und habe ein Plektrum zugeworfen bekommen und habe das Mikrofon zugehalten bekommen und habe danach mit denen gesprochen und ein Foto gemacht. Und ja, das war ein sehr erfüllendes Erlebnis und ich habe mich wie eine sehr wichtige Person gefühlt. Ja. Eine Person, die Texte mitsingen kann. Von einer Band, die sonst niemand kannte, die da gespielt hat. Fand ich gut. Fand ich sehr gut. Wird auch nicht noch häufiger passieren, glaube ich, in meinem Leben, sowas. Das wäre, was ich sonst noch erlebt habe. Ansonsten, ja, belassen wir es, glaube ich, dabei und starten ins Spiel rein. Außer ihr habt noch was Spannendes zu erzählen. Aber das könnt ihr mir auch trotzdem noch erzählen. Ich werde auch trotzdem es noch lesen. Voller Interesse. Und, oh, krass. Sagen. So, Spiel startet gerade. Und ich wechsle rüber. Läuft doch alles. Top. Doch, in der Anime-Season bin ich auch drin. Ich gucke aktiv 2 Anime. Das ist voll drin, oder? 2 Anime gucken ist voll drin, habe ich gehört. Und zwar Oshinoko, also das ist ja der Anime zum aktuell laufenden Manga vom Love is War Autoren. Und Love is War ist mein Lieblingsanime. Möchte ich mal so in den Raum werfen. Deswegen Oshinoko ist großartig. Oshinoko ist bisher ganz cool. Also die erste Folge war großartig und danach war es okay. Deswegen mal gucken, ob es mal wieder 10 von 10, ich würde so sagen 7 von 10 bisher. Wäre so mein Statement. Erste Folge 9 von 10, danach so 7 von 10. Wäre so, würde ich so sagen. Aber mal gucken. Love is War 10 von 10. Das auf jeden Fall. Und sonst gucke ich noch Tengoku Daimakyo. Heavenly Delusion ist der englische Name. Genau, Heavenly Delusion. Das ist ein sehr, sehr cooler Anime. Falls du den nicht kennst, der könnte dir gefallen. Der ist quasi wie er ist nicht wirklich wie Promised Neverland, aber er hat so ein Element von Promised Neverland halt, dass da Kinder in einer Einrichtung eingesperrt sind und nicht wissen, dass es eine Außenwelt gibt und so. Genau, das ist so ein bisschen Teil der Prämisse. Aber auch noch viel anderes. Es ist ein, ja, guck mal, das sind die 2 Anime, die ich gucke. Gut, Styles, dass wir das geklärt haben. Dann brauche ich ja gar nicht mehr gucken. Ich gucke ja schon die besten Sachen offensichtlich. Oh ja, Heavenly Delusion kam heute eine neue Folge, habe ich nicht geguckt. Muss ich doch gucken. Werde ich nach dem Stream gucken. Freue ich mich jetzt drauf. Danke. Hype. Schnell den Stream beenden. Schnell den Stream beenden. Styles, ich hasse dich. Ich hab mich abgebrochen. Ich wollte sagen, ich wäre fast fertig geworden. Ich wollte sagen, es ist eine Mischung aus Promised Neverland und Shinsekai Yori. Das habe ich tatsächlich, ich hab's auf Twitter auch gepostet, vielleicht hast du es gesehen. Ich war in einem Podcast auf jeden Fall dabei, wo wir zum Beispiel über Heavenly Delusion geredet haben und da war meine Beschreibung, das ist wie eine Mischung aus Promised Neverland und Shinsekai Yori. Und ja, es ist eine Mischung aus Promised Neverland und Shinsekai Yori. Ich sehe voll, was du meinst, ja. Ich glaube sogar, also ich habe sogar das Gefühl, dass es teilweise einen ähnlichen, ich weiß nicht, vielleicht auch nicht, wahrscheinlich nicht. Da müsste ich jetzt zu viel Shinsekai Yori spoilern und wahrscheinlich rede ich sowieso Blödsinn. Deswegen machen wir einfach weiter mit Tag 5. Choice. Amidst the fuzziness, I had a dream. It seemed to be an afternoon after school. My mother hugged me so tight that it made my arms uncomfortable. She kept crying and apologizing, wetting my face with endless teardrops. Why was she crying? I blankly looked at my emotionally collapsed mother. Even the supposedly familiar face appeared unfamiliar at that moment. Even though she was the one who betrayed father. Even though she was the one who abandoned us. So why did she look so sad? I couldn't ask a simple question from my heart, yet the voice answered nonetheless. That's how the adult world works. There was a depressed, yet still young voice. Then in the darkness I realized that it was none other but my own voice. Und seitdem liebe ich Kapitalismus. I woke up from my dream in shock with the realization that my face was all wet. I couldn't recall the details of the dream itself, just the sense of bitterness weighing on my chest, rendering me breathless. There were a few spots of white light from outside on the ground. It was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat and the wind from the window. It was probably 4 or 5 a.m. I must have woken up early because I slept way too early the day before. I sat up to stretch my body, with the joints making clear crackling sounds. The last bit of my dream vanished with the morning light. I noticed the girl was leaning against the door with a blanket. With a knife next to her body, she had clearly fallen into deep sleep. Worrying I might escape, she didn't even want to sleep in an actual bed. She had a slender body clearly due to malnutrition, and the unkempt shoulder-length long hair that was tangled in multiple places. Her long eyebrows wrinkled together as though she couldn't find peace even in the dream. Her long hair didn't seem very healthy, and even the color was not consistent. Ja, es hat einfach komische pinke Verfärbung. Das sieht ungesund aus auf jeden Fall. Komische lila, pinke, rötliche Verfärbung. Irgendwo dazwischen. One probably couldn't care less about their hair when eating for the night alone was an uncertainty. She could be a beauty if she cleaned herself up and maybe put on some makeup. Make-up hat sie ganz dringend nötig, das sieht man ja. Ne? Also, sie trägt definitiv Make-up. Just saying, sie trägt definitiv Make-up. Nein, Tani, du hast noch nichts verpasst. Wir haben gerade erst angefangen, weil ich noch ein bisschen über andere Dinge geredet habe. Die natürlich auch alle sehr interessant für dich gewesen wären, aber jetzt, ja, ist blöd gelaufen. Waren wichtige Informationen zu nächster Woche. Das ist etwas, was du nicht vergessen darfst nächste Woche. Aber du wirst es vergessen. Deswegen sage ich es dir gar nicht erst, damit du es nicht vergessen kannst. Denn du kannst es nicht vergessen, wenn du es nicht weißt. Genau. Carefully observing her asleep face, I almost forgot she was a kidnapper. Danke, Shiny. Danke, ich hab dich auch lieb. Den blauen Flex, ich hab mir den nicht ausgedacht. Ich schwöre, der ist da. Man sieht ihn in der Kamera nicht. Das finde ich ein bisschen crazy. Aber ja, hätte ich also doch ein Video aufnehmen können diese Woche. Aber hey, deswegen spiele ich jetzt einfach stattdessen weiter den Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. Dazu habe ich wahrscheinlich sowieso ein interessanteres Video, sobald ich durch bin. Mal gucken. Having a totally different family might have led to a totally different life for her. The world is not fair. I remembered what she said and wondered what emotion did she say that line with. Helplessness toward the society, self-pity, rage against the rich. All of the above. I had to stop thinking about it and focus on figuring out what to do. Rest. There was no point to risk this much. They might just let me go after tonight. Hearing her voice, I was glad I didn't try anything crazy. Shiny, ich wollte es fast lesen, bevor dann Rich da stand. Mein Kopf hat auch Auto vervollständigt. I finally managed to let her drop guard on me. I just needed to be patient and wait for the opportunity. Good morning. What are you doing? She tried to yawn and looked at me unpleasantly. Wait for breakfast. She clearly didn't bite and walked to me with the knife. She checked if the rope was loose. You're free once your dad pays today. No funny business. Alright. Better keep your mouth shut and say nothing, got it? You'll never make friends if you are this bossy, you know? Wir wollen sicherlich mit ihr befreundet sein. Ja, das ist der Plan. Wobei, zugegebenermaßen, die Route, die ich spiele, ist ja quasi, dass ich mich mit denen anfreunde. Ich meine, ich habe ja immer so die zurückhaltenden Optionen gewählt, die ich bin freundlich und nett und ich versuche nicht zu fliehen. Ich denke, man hätte halt wahrscheinlich auch ganz anders spielen können, vielleicht, um hier anzukommen. Ich weiß es nicht, vielleicht wäre man einfach gestorben irgendwann, aber ich bin halt schon die ganze Zeit sehr auf der Defensive. Wahrscheinlich unnötigerweise, wahrscheinlich kriegen wir einfach das schlechteste Ende. She stared at me briefly and decided to say nothing more. She then walked to the bathroom to clean up. Unlikely as it might be, but if they're going to pay the ransom, they would let me go without me risking anything. Eigentlich ist es eine Dating-Sim, richtig. So the problem would be if it was just to buy time. I wasn't sure what they would do if pushed it forward. Either I escaped on my own or waited for the police's rescue. Well, I would worry about that after tonight. So what now? Sehr gute Frage. Gibt es noch irgendwas, was ich observen möchte? Kann ich nochmal ins Bad gehen? Ich kann auch ins Bad gehen. Hallo, gibt es noch irgendwas Spannendes? I was not expecting to see running water from the faucet. There are toothbrushes and cups as well. Do they really live here? Do you live here? Why do you ask? She didn't answer directly, but carefully asked back. After I managed to trick her a few times, she got more and more careful when talking to me, fearing to reveal more information. Ich habe gar nicht so sehr versucht, sie auszutricksen, oder? Wann habe ich sie denn versucht auszutricksen? I saw toothbrushes and glasses in the bathroom, so I thought you might live here. What do you think? I think only homeless people would find this place attractive. Hearing my honest answer, she covered her mouth and giggled in a bit of mockingly manner. You're not that far off from being homeless, just slightly more fortunate. Ja, ich meine, sie wohnen ja hier. Also sind sie ja offensichtlich nicht homeless. Zumindest, wenn sie hier wohnen. Who knows? Who knows? Why do you owe so much money? My dad tried to start a company with someone, but that partner skipped town with all the money. It should be none of your business, though. You can just file for bankruptcy. He thought he could make up the loss if the business kept running, so he loaned it a ton from a loan shark. Ja, das war, was ich erwartet hatte, tatsächlich. He's no businessman, so the business naturally failed. He himself skipped town too, instead of making any money. But legally, that's his own debt. Legally? She cut me off with a grunt. She then asked with raised eyebrow, do you think this is some entrance exam? What are the cops for if everyone follows the law? So now, can I help you? She looked at me with amazement. You need to take responsibility for your own life. Isn't that your favorite line? Das ist ja nicht dein Leben. Also ist ja sein Problem. Eigentlich. Sollte es sein. Enough. Should I fill you in on how I survived till now? She shut me down decisively and fell into a deep thought next to the window with her cigarette. Ja, sie sieht wohl müde aus, ne? Vielleicht, weil sie müde ist. Hey, so what's your plan after getting the money? Why do you ask? She suspiciously turned her head to me, waiting for my answer. Just curious. How boring. During the long wait, I had nothing to kill time with but chatting. She stayed silent for a bit, tapping the cigarette ash on the desk, then quietly opened her mouth. I want to start over, somewhere where no one knows about me. The face of the girl stating her vision was so determined, like some pious nun praying. There was neither passion nor desire, just serenity. I don't care what kind of job I get, just want to save some money and live a normal life where I can sleep under a roof and eat properly. Can't do that now? It didn't sound that impossible. She could have just grabbed a knapsack and gone off to the countryside like those work exchange folks. Now? She laughed and waved her hand as though I just asked something really stupid. No fucking way. Even if you change your face or name, they'll still hunt you down as long as you owe them money. Aber wenn du dein Gesicht änderst, wie wollen sie dich finden? Also, I think that's worth a try. So eine Maske aufsetzen wie Date in Either Somnium Files. Oh, das, ihr kennt Nirvana Initiative vielleicht noch nicht. Ja, in Nirvana Initiative passieren Sachen. Wenn überhaupt jemand von euch das erste Either Somnium Files ihr kennt, ja? Also wirklich. Also wirklich. Styles und so. Gutes Spiel übrigens. But even if you got the money and paid off the debt, could you really get out of this that easily? Ja, ich weiß, dass du den Anfang kennst, deswegen meine ich ja. Ach ja. Whether through surveillance, camera footage or call records, it was impossible to escape from the pursuit of the police thanks to modern technology. Escaping abroad might be an option, but the language barrier and the lack of cash would also be problematic. I didn't know if she had thought about this, but it was weird for me to ask her anyway. Is that strange to you? Nope, I've thought of similar things. I think everyone has, going someplace where no one knows who you are. Where from the stigma or any expectations, just to live as your true self. Oh, why would you want that? Are you still not satisfied with your life? Men are greedy animals, haha. Noticing I didn't speak the truth, she hesitantly opened her mouth, but nothing came out in the end. She couldn't seem to calm down on the big day. Pacing around the room, she kept checking her phone screen. Ich glaube, wie gesagt, nicht, dass wir heute das Geld bekommen. Also, wir bekommen sowieso kein Geld, aber dass sie irgendwie heute das Geld bekommt. Ich weiß immer noch nicht, was sie ranzoomen soll. Ich glaube immer noch, dass das ein Bug ist, übrigens. Ich glaube, das ist ein Bug. Oder ein sehr seltsames Stilmittel. A sound from outside of the door. Judging from the girl's shocked reaction, I wasn't imagining it. Who could that be? This looks really crazy, okay? There were cushions in my mind, but I was pressed against the wall before I could even open my mouth. The girl covered my mouth in panic and raised the knife against my neck. The blade was so close I wouldn't dare to move an inch. Don't move. I can't. Shut up! Unable to stop the trembling in her voice, she put more force into her hand. The sharp end would stab into the throat with a simple push. It didn't appear to be an accomplice. Since it didn't appear there were any other residents, one wouldn't expect a sudden visit. Enhance müsste halt besser funktionieren, ne? Deutlich besser dafür. Das war eher das Gegenteil von Enhance. The police maybe? They might be able to find me through the surveillance camera or cell phone signal, but could they find us this quickly after only a few days? Ich hätte eher andersrum gedacht, dass ich es für realistischer gehalten hätte, wenn sie uns früher gefunden hätten. Und dass es jetzt nicht mal die Polizei sein sollte, weil... Warum sollte die Polizei uns jetzt gefunden haben? I don't know. Aber, sure. Following the train of thoughts, the steps got closer, then stopped right before the door. There was no hesitation, straight to the destination. Das Flippen war großartig. Kunst. In other words, they knew there was someone here. Und Leute behaupten, Visual Novels seien zu statisch, ne? Hast du schon mal andere Spiele flippen sehen? Ich? Selten. As though waiting for something, there was no sound out of the door. A tense right hand trembled a little. I could see the sweat dripping down the cheek. Big sis? Wow. All that for nothing. She breathed out heavily and dropped her arms as though exhausted. Ich dachte auch, ist das nicht einfach das kleine Mädchen? Why are you like this? Warum flippst du so aus? She opened the door to greet the little girl who was carrying a bag and looked at her big sis innocently. What are you doing? Do you know how dangerous it is? If you didn't make a sound, I might have attacked you. War schon fast eine physical novel. What does that mean? It was rare to see her getting mad at the little girl, who lowered her head apologetically. Ach Mensch. Was ist denn nur los? Warum bin ich immer müde, wenn ich das streame? Das ist ja wirklich immer diese Zeit. Das Codewort ist Big Sis. Also ich brauche nicht mal den Codewort, sie hätte einfach was sagen können. Sie hätte ja die Stimme erkannt. Das hätte ja gereicht. Through the door I could see the view of the stairs, the red armrest and grey wall were the common side of an old apartment. Whatever, as long as not the cop. The cop, der eine Cop? Gibt's nur einen? Gibt's einen bestimmten Cop? Wait, didn't I tell you not to come? What happened? Who asked you to come here? She raised her head suddenly and started to shake the little girl's shoulder with a nervous expression. No one. Then why did you? I just want to be with Big Sis. A direct response rendered the girl speechless, who became lost in thought while rubbing the little girl's head. The little girl's motive was simple. She just wanted to be with her Big Sis, but her sis had more to consider. How to avoid police pursuit, what to do after getting the money. It was difficult as it was to escape on her own, let alone taking care of the little girl. Why did you bring so many things? Deciding to let it go, she took the plastic bag. Miss Wong asked me to bring them over. She said they were left over. She knows. I don't know. She just said you should take care of yourself and let her know if you need help. Guck mal, es können dir Leute helfen. Wenn du nett fragst und so. Hi Lucy, willkommen. Ich lese heute sehr viel. Aber hi. Ist immer schwierig bei einem Visual Novel Stream, ne? So zwischendurch reinzukommen. Ich kann da nicht so gut spontan erklären, worum es geht. Ich meine, wir sind gekidnappt worden. Wir wurden gekidnappt am Anfang des Spiels. Also darum geht das ganze Spiel, das ist nicht jetzt gerade passiert, sondern das ganze Spiel über sind wir gekidnappt und gefesselt an einen Stuhl. Und ja, das ist alles, worum es geht. Das ist die Story zusammengefasst. She seemed to lose her usual cool, with her head lowered depressingly. Big Sis. Swong seems worried about you. Looking at the hesitating little girl, she bit her lips and finally spoke after a while. Dann top. Ich hoffe, es geht dir gut und so. Genau. Ich habe dich zumindest länger nicht mehr hier gesehen, deswegen. Schön, dass du mal wieder vorbeischaust, ja. Worry would be all over soon. She went to smile while rubbing the little girl's hair. Noticing the name that was brought up. Who was this Miss Wong they were talking about? Ask. Ein bisschen aggressiver vorgehen langsam. She's Big Sis. Suddenly a bread was thrown at me. It hit me right in the face before I could react. Danke immer fürs Brot. Thank goodness it was just scallion bread. I would be in trouble if it was Baguette. Einfach mit dem Baguette erschlagen. Erstochen. Mir geht's auch gut, denke ich. Behaupte ich. Be quiet and don't try to trick her. Ich wollte niemanden ausdrücken, ich wollte nur Informationen haben. You too. Ling? Ling? Don't tell him anything. Wahrscheinlich I-Ling. I-Ling? Ich kann nicht so gut Chinesisch. Um genau zu sagen, gar nicht. I-Ling. I repeated the name quietly. The girl was still scolding her sister, not paying attention to what she just revealed. If they shared the same last name, then her full name should be I-Ling Huang. The name stuck out to me. It almost felt familiar in a way. Kennen wir uns doch alle? Sind wir doch alle verbunden über das morphogenetische Feld oder so? Ich weiß es nicht. Whatever, might be for the best. She passed the knife to the little girl and started to leave the room with the cell phone impatiently. Keep an eye on him for me. I'm going to give a call and find out what's going on. They didn't pick up the phone. She impatiently mumbled and was about to step out of the room. Calling whom? One part of shut up, don't you understand? She coldly stared at me. It's none of your business, got it? Also nicht mein Vater wahrscheinlich. Just eat the bread if you're hungry. There's also enough water. I'll be back soon, so don't you think about it untying yourself. Hey, what if there's a fire? Then he will be burned to death. I don't care as long as she escapes. Vielleicht sind unsere Eltern die Loan Sharks. Das wäre amazing. I'll remind you again, no funny business. What else can I do? Barbecue? She wanted to say something while staring at me, but eventually she just grunted and left. Vielleicht besser so. The door closed and there were only me and the little girl. You would learn if the ransom really arrived tonight or not. They would only keep a close eye on me if the negotiation continued. If I wanted to run, now would be the best chance. The little girl had less strength than her sister, nor was as on guard of me as she used to. Grammatik, schwierige Grammatik. Noch ist die Übersetzung immer noch besser als von Rail of Möbius, möchte ich behaupten. Das hat eine deutlich schlechtere Übersetzung. Englische. Nur so am Rande. An eine Person gerichtet. All these choices were like gambling. You never knew what would be your next card. The only thing that mattered was that you only had one chance to bid. So what now? Chatten wir mit dem, Das können wir nicht fragen, ihr wurde verboten, darüber zu reden. Wir bedanken uns erstmal. Oh, I almost forgot to thank you. Why are you thanking me? Ich schon, ganz eindeutig hatte ich schon öfter Probleme damit, irgendwas zu verstehen. When I was sick a few days ago, weren't you the one that asked her to buy some medicine? No, because this would have helped you anyway. She awkwardly avoided my gaze, as though admitting that helping me was something to be embarrassed about. I stood a conflicted mind to her. My gratitude might not be praise, but criticism. Gibt's irgendwas zu observen? Was ist das da? Ach, das ist die Lampe. I tried to check out the girl's notebook, but she snatched it away from me. Seems like I can't read it without her permission. Oh, so you like cake? Who doesn't? I ordered this Discern magazine from her. I could tell her preferences from all the markings in it. Yes! She nodded eagerly. Her serious reaction was rather amusing. I like fluffy cake. S114. Nein, sie ist ein Androide. Hilfe! The twist wurde revealed. Chocolate is the best, but strawberry is fine too. Though the ones you picked aren't really cheap. Every one of them costs at least a few hundred Taiwan dollars. The sauce she marked all looked pretty fancy. There were even a few famous ones that accepted only reservations. Vielleicht wurde ihr versprochen, dass sie ein bisschen Kuchen bekommt als Belohnung, wenn ich befreit werde. Wenn ich rausbezahlt werde hier und sie Geld bekommt und so, genau. Even I admire these rich ladies' power of consumption, whether eating a slice of cake or some gold foil or maybe pearl powder. From millions in debt to luxurious afternoon tea, that sort of distance was one you couldn't close up in a lifetime. Ich behaupte mal schon, Experte bin ich jetzt nicht, ne, aber wäre so meine Schlussfolgerung. Even if just once, I want to try them with Big Sis. Quiet words broke my train of thought. She stood still and hung her head sadly. By the sadness in her voice, I almost forgot my own conundrum. Some people live a luxurious life, yet can't find fulfillment or purpose. While others only wish to be able to have an afternoon tea with their family just once. The same society but different lives. Some people's dreams are merely trivial daily occurrences for others. When I raised my head, the girl was already back to folding paper. Ja, ich frage einfach mal. She also talked before immediately shutting her mouth, still remembering her big sister's words. I had to find another way to make her disclose it. She's the real culprit, right? She's the woman behind the slaughter. She tilted her head in confusion, not knowing what I was talking about. Damn, needs to somehow cover it up. What I mean is that she... I don't know. Realizing my intention, she replied calmly but with a determined face. Oh, okay. Alright. Nun. It was the 5th day of my kidnapped life. I started to get really tired of the unchanged room. Ja, bitte ein bisschen mehr Hintergründe, ne? Ich meine, das war schon mal schön, dass wir irgendwann das Badezimmer freigeschaltet haben, aber gerne noch ein bisschen mehr. Gerne noch ein bisschen mehr Abwechslung. Whether it was the afternoon sunlight, the reflection in the window, or the air mix of cigarette and mold smell, I didn't have an enlightening experience. I just wanted to get out of this goddamn place. What's that? Noticing the bag in her hand, I asked her out of curiosity. Colored paper. She took out piles of color paper. The rainbow color really stood out in the depressingly grey room. After a few slick movements, she had nimbly made a small paper crane out of it. Ja, davon hat sie ja schon einige gefaltet gehabt. She moved on to the next paper upon a completion, and another one was completed less than a minute. A paper crane. Ich meine, wir haben das Badezimmer literally freigeschaltet. Wir hatten es am Anfang halt auch nicht. Ne? Irgendwann haben wir die Option gehabt, da auch noch uns umzugucken, ja? Muss man sich halt auch erstmal erarbeiten, sowas. Yes, they buy finished paper cranes from us. Oh, domestic OEM. What does that mean? Heard some factories will outsource sewing and packaging to housewives and paid for quantity upon competition. Despite the low pay, many people took on such jobs for the convenience and flexible hours. I wanted to help him make some money so we could pay up the debt sooner. Kräne. Also was sagt man wirklich? Es gibt Leute, die sagen Kräne dazu. Oder? Ja doch. Weil es heißt ja... Ihr wisst, was ein Wasserhahn ist, oder? Weil man munkelt, dass man hier, wo ich wohne, jetzt, sagt man Wasserkran statt Wasserhahn. Weil Kran kommt aber von Kranich. Genau. Aber ja, man sagt hier jedenfalls Wasserkran. Das war auch ein großer Kulturschock für mich, als ich hier hingezogen bin in diese Gegend. Aber hier ist das, was alle Leute sagen. Die sagen einfach Wasserkran und Kranwasser. Kranwasser! Nicht Leitungswasser, die sagen Kranwasser. What does that mean? Das ist okay, Tu. Ich habe gesehen, du hast irgendwas geliked, was ich getweetet habe. Also wusste ich, dass du noch lebst. Hat mich gefreut, dass du noch lebst. Ich weiß auch nicht, was hier los ist. Ich weiß auch nicht, was in dieser Gegend los ist. Kranwasser. Ich weiß gar nicht, was los ist, als ich das erstmal gefragt wurde, ob ich Kranwasser möchte. Was für Kranwasser? Ist das eine Marke? She was still working while talking. It wasn't long before there was a small pile. But it appeared to be her first time. She must have been doing this for a while. How's the payment? How much each? 800 Taiwan dollars for 1,000. More of urgent. Also 80 Cent wäre die Antwort gewesen. Glaube ich. Ja, müsste, oder? Ja doch, müsste passen. Mathe kann ich nicht gut. 800 per 1,000 cranes. It's less than $1 each. Ja. It took only a minute to make. It would still take 15 hours. Ja, ist doch gut, oder? Also, in Euro würde ich das machen. Auf jeden Fall. Ja, außerdem bist du mittendrin und du würdest jetzt nicht so viel von der Story verstehen, ne? Also, wenn du jetzt einfach so reinspringst mittendrin. Aber ja, nächste Woche, mal gucken, was ich nächste Woche streame. Keine Visual Novel wahrscheinlich. Entweder ich streame Just Chatting oder ich streame Tears of the Kingdom. Das sind die 2 Optionen. Denn, das kann ich auch nochmal sagen, wenn gerade so viele Leute da sind, das habe ich am Anfang des Streams gesagt, als noch nicht so viele Leute da waren. Nächste Woche, am 12. Mai ist das nämlich der Freitag. Da kommen viele Sachen aufeinander, weil ich habe am Mittwoch nächste Woche Geburtstag. Das heißt, es wird quasi mein Geburtstagsstream. Ich habe auch gerade 2998 Abonnenten. Das heißt, ich werde wahrscheinlich bis dahin 3000 Abonnenten haben. Das heißt, es wird auch mal 3000 Abonnenten streamen. Das heißt, es wäre eigentlich, hätte ich geplant, einfach einen Just Chatting Stream zum Reden und so. Wäre eigentlich voll sinnvoll dafür. Aber gleichzeitig kommt am Freitag auch Tears of the Kingdom raus. Das heißt, eigentlich würde es auch Sinn ergeben, wenn ich Tears of the Kingdom streame. Deswegen weiß ich noch nicht, was ich dann mache. Aber nächste Woche Freitag kommt auf jeden Fall ein Stream und es wird keine Visual Novel sein. Es wird entweder Just Chatting oder Tears of the Kingdom sein oder beides. Oder gar nichts. Ja, also vielleicht. Genau, Return of Zelda Freak XD, nicht 316. XD heißt das, danke. 613. Ich habe keine Zahlen angehängt. That's not much. Isn't this manual labor? Don't know. They say people don't buy paper crane anymore. Ja, wofür auch? Also wer kauft einen I'm sorry. Wer kauft einen Papierkranich? I guess we all prefer new things. Ja, aber es geht ja nicht darum, worauf ich Lust habe. Worauf ich Lust habe, ist irrelevant. Ich habe das Lust, worauf andere Leute Lust haben. Was Leute gucken wollen. Ja, Vario, danke. Endlich stimmt mir jemand zu. Alle Leute haben irgendwas Nettes zu meiner Frisur gesagt. Auch meine Mitbewohnerin heute. Ey, das steht dir echt gut, diese Haarlänge. Und ich dachte so, seit ich mir die Haare geschnitten habe, dachte ich so, holy fuck. What have I done? What happened? Gut, dass sie wieder nachwachsen. Endlich jemand meiner Meinung. Das freut mich doch sehr, ja. Ein bisschen zu kurz geschnitten. Also ich schneide meine Haare selbst seit vielen Jahren. War schon lange über keinen Friseur mehr. Aber habe ein bisschen kurz geschnitten und habe hier vorne auf jeden Fall hart verkackt. Und es wird schon auch. Wird wieder. Alles gut. Keine Panik. If you were $1 million in debt, even a century would not be enough, let alone the interest. There was no foreseeable hope. No wonder they rather took the risk and kidnapped me. A horse cannot gain weight if not fed with extra fodder during the night. A man cannot become wealthy without earnings apart from his regular pace. Legal methods are really the only option to make money in the short time without capital. Wow, das ist eine lange Zeile gewesen. Have you tried jobs with better pay? Guck mal, hast du versucht, einfach mal mehr zu verdienen? Did you try that? Pixis told me to stay away from those. She interrupted me resentfully, clearly not happy about it. Confused by her reaction, I tried to explain myself, then I noticed how she was suppressing her emotion by biting the lips. Restaurants, jobs with better pay. It only took me seconds before I realized what she didn't say. I turned my gaze apologetically. Sorry, I didn't mean to. She quietly lowered her gaze, but her expression did lighten up a little. How much do you owe? I know that no matter how many I make, it would still not be enough. Guessing what I had in mind, she quietly resumed working. But this is the only way I could help Big Sis. She knew this little money was inconsequential. She knew what she was doing was illegal. Yet she could only do what she could. Even though it was pointless as filling the ocean with rocks. Do you know the story of the paper crane? Remember the bedtime story while looking at the paper crane in her hand. Ach ja, Vario, wenn du gerade kurz da bist. Hi, übrigens, just saying. Wiederhole ich nochmal ganz kurz. Nächste Woche streame ich entweder einen Geburtstagsstream, Just Chatting oder Zelda. Also vielleicht Interesse. I don't know. I'm just saying in advance. Es wird nächsten Freitag sein. Nächsten Samstag bin ich nämlich nicht da. Genau. Okay, ich bin fertig. Um das 3. Mal wiederholt zu haben. If you fold 1000 paper crane, you can make a wish. So you do know. Big Sis told me that, but it was all a lie. It was a lie? Damn. If all it takes is 1000 cranes, everyone wouldn't need to work so hard. What an unimaginative way to put it, but I guess they didn't have time for romantic fantasy. Alles außer Zelda, bitte. Damn. Der Hate. Aber es kommt halt nächsten Freitag raus. Es kommt halt nächsten Freitag raus, you know? Aber ja, wenn ich nicht selber streame, dann streame ich einfach nur reden, ohne Videospiel. Das wären die beiden Möglichkeiten. Entweder ich streame gar nichts oder ich streame Zelda. Also ich streame dann trotzdem, aber halt kein Spiel. Genau. Ironic that the dream fulfilling paper cranes were made by people without them. Observed her side face with her knees. She didn't appear to have much emotion, just as quiet as a pond in fall. The siblings had such a drastically different personalities. In contrast to her big sister's anger, she just accepted it without second word. Alles für die Klicks, ja, exakt. She cared about her big sister's happiness and her current life more than fairness. Didn't know how to respond, so I changed subject. If we can have a wish, what would it be? It will not come true anyway. That's why I said if. She seemed to take my random question seriously and started to contemplate seriously. I want to help the family pay the debt. I hope no one will come for us. I wish Big Sis can find a happiness and better job. Oh, you're getting a little greedy here. You asked me to. I won't listen to you if you ask for too many things. Das war eine Sache im Prinzip. Im Prinzip war das alles eine Sache. Also ich habe Breath of the Wild halt auch nicht durchgespielt und weil ich es so langweilig und leer fand und ich kenne auch die Story von Breath of the Wild nicht, also that doesn't matter. Ist halt trotzdem ein relevantes Spiel, um es gespielt zu haben wahrscheinlich. Ich muss ja die Gameplay-Mechaniken analysieren, wie Sachen in Sachen reinstecken und so. Genau, das klingt wichtig. She got interrupted by me and started to smile sadly. Smile more heartbreaking than crying. Well, they won't come true anyway. I tried to comfort her but couldn't find the words. I resented myself for even bringing this up in the first place. Looking out the window, it was dusk already and the sun was almost gone. I wasn't sure if they had any luck with the ransom. Breath of the Wild ist halt schon ein relevantes Spiel. Und Tears of the Kingdom, ich bin schon gespannt, was sie damit machen. Ich meine, ja. Vielleicht hat es auch wieder mehr Dungeons. Who knows? I don't. Weil wenn es mehr Dungeons hat, dann könnte es ein gutes Spiel werden. Will es wieder Schreine haben? Ich weiß noch nicht mal, ob es Schreine hat. Also, wirklich nicht. Und wenn ja, in welcher Form? Ob es wieder genauso aufgebaut sind oder ob es was ganz anderes ist. Wie viel Sinn ergeben Schreine noch? Es macht ja Sachen gut. Breath of the Wild macht ja auch Sachen gut. Na? Ich mag es halt nur nicht. Aber es macht ja trotzdem offensichtlich Sachen gut. Ich kann empfehlen, das Video Context Sensitivity zu gucken. Das heißt Context Sensitivity einfach. Wenn ihr das sucht, dann findet ihr das Video. Da wird ein bisschen über Breath of the Wild ein paar Sachen gesagt, die sehr interessant sind. Aber ja. It was quite an assortment of bread. At the bread she brought back for dinner, I picked the richer-looking pork floss combo and it tasted better than I expected. I used to only buy from the bakery that made fresh and organic bread. The price almost doubled, but the taste wasn't really that different. Ich habe das Video halt schon 3-mal geguckt, deswegen kann ich das ganz gut empfehlen. Es ist ein gutes Video. Es ist ein gutes Video über Game Design allgemein. The economic equality used to be just some fancy catchphrase, and I never truly understood the meaning of that till now. It is unfairness in the extreme. Even if giving the same amount of effort, they would never have the same life as me. Not because of my talent, but simply because I was born to a rich family. So fucking true. Some people choose work study, and we are already hundreds of thousands in debt upon graduation. While others never needed to worry about food or clothes, and already had $1 million Taiwan dollars in business capital from their parents. Eventually, these people would compete fairly in the same society. It's ridiculous, really. Yet there's nothing we can do about it. We are powerless of the system. Ich würde es mir auch nicht kaufen, aber ich bekomme es geschenkt, weil ich habe Geburtstag nächste Woche. Also. The world isn't fair. That's why she was this helpless. It was getting dark and there was no news of a big sis. I didn't know if she got the money. Started to worry. Well, I didn't really think they would pay, but I also hoped that this fiasco could end on a peaceful note. They couldn't get the money. All these thoughts intertwined in my mind. The little girl just ate the various breads quietly, not noticing my thoughts. Aber die Übersetzung wird schon auch schlechter, glaube ich. Also die bricht auch immer mehr auseinander. Das finde ich, ist üblich, glaube ich. Aber trotzdem, schade. You like sweets? She moved on to act hard after finishing the donut, neither of them fitting for a proper meal. She quietly put her hand away like a child that had caught of doing naughty things. I like sweets too. Really? She looked at me with widened eyes, beaming curiosity. The innocence in her expression made one question her age. She looked like a middle schooler, yet her timid personality and over-reliance on her sister seemed to be more like an elementary school kid. Yeah, I like cookies, cakes, and ice cream. Who doesn't? Chocolate? Chocolate is nice, but I prefer those with higher percent of cocoa. Otherwise, it is too sweet for me. Not really understanding it, she just nodded. She paused to work and grab a magazine from the book pile and flipped through pages before putting it before me. It was a professional magazine on desserts. Ja, das haben wir schon mal angeguckt gerade eben. There were photos of famous bakery and detailed analysis on each of them. I could see her notes on some pages, including a white chocolate cake that got specially circled. Nee, meine Essays sind hinten auch gut, glaube ich, meistens. Hoffe ich. Zumindest versuche ich's. Ich versuche sogar, dass sie am Ende am besten sind. Im besten Fall. Das wäre eher, was ich versuchen würde. Have you tried this? Nope, I seldom try out a particular store. I only visited a few I know about. Sometimes people would give us some as gifts, but I rarely had a taste of those since I didn't visit home frequently. Speaking of which, white chocolate is actually not chocolate. Why is that? It is white because there's no cocoa powder. Do you know it is made of cocoa butter and milk solid? Oh. She tilted her head and blinked a few times out of confusion. So what's the difference? Different ingredients. Our white chocolate is not as healthy. Nein, weiße Schokolade schmeckt nicht gut. Wer mag weiße Schokolade? Also, I'm sorry, aber I don't get it. Ich kann damit argue auf jeden Fall. Ja, das auch. Aber wobei es bei mir einfach so ist, dass ich für den Anfang einfach extrem lange brauche. Also ich schreibe dann einfach den Anfang 5-mal um, bis ich dann überhaupt irgendwann mal fortfahre. Doch, das war ein Angriffsschein. Das war ein sehr persönlicher Angriff. Ich wollte sagen, dass das Ende von meinem Flowers and Rain Video schlecht ist. Danke. Jetzt weiß ich Bescheid, aber ist okay, sehe ich auch so. The difference between us was never clearer. Comparing to my health concern, she cared more about the taste. I flipped through the magazine with one hand. There were more pages with notes. I recalled myself doing the same thing on travel guidebook before a trip. Every stroke of the pen was filled with anticipation. You really want to try them, huh? She lowered her head, and I heard her response in a tiny voice. Big Sis said she will bring me there. Das dachte ich mir, das habe ich mir schon vorher gesehen von einer Weile. Also das Ding ist, Vario, ich hoffe halt noch, dass ein Flowers and Rain Remake eines Tages angekündigt wird. Oder ein Remaster oder ein Port oder irgendwas, ne? Halt etwas, was nicht die DS-Version ist. Und wenn das kommt, dann würde ich tatsächlich am ersten Tag wahrscheinlich einen Marathon-Stream davon machen. Weil das Spiel geht... Also das Spiel geht so circa 10 Stunden. Ich denke, dann im Stream würde es so 15 Stunden gehen. 14, 15 Stunden. Deswegen, das würde ich als Marathon-Stream, denke ich, machen. Da hätte ich Bock drauf. Würde ich übrigens auch mit dem nächsten Nier machen. Also wenn irgendwann ein neues Nier rauskommt, würde ich das auch am ersten Tag als Marathon-Stream machen. Also es gibt so ein paar Sachen, wo ich das durchaus durchziehen würde. Beim nächsten Persona nicht, weil das ist lang. Persona 6 werde ich hier in einem Stück in einem Stream durchspielen. Aber ja, so ein paar Sachen, wo ich richtig hinterstehe und wo ich weiß, dass sie jetzt nicht so krass lang sind, dass sie so machbar sind. Ich meine, Nier wäre schon länger. Nier wäre schon 24-Stunden-Stream. Also, mal gucken. Vielleicht würde es in 2 Marathon-Streams oder so machen, über 2 Tage verteilt. Endet dann wieder im Elden Ring Stream. Ja, nee. Ich würde es dann halt nicht um 0 Uhr anfangen, weil das war das Problem im Elden Ring Stream, dass ich um 0 Uhr anfangen wollte. Ich würde es dann halt tagsüber anfangen, nachdem ich schon das Spiel runtergeladen habe und schon getestet habe, es zu streamen und so. Dann klappt das schon. Das war ja bei mir dann da das Problem, dass ich das dann spontan mitten in der Nacht machen musste. She couldn't go to school and had to become independent way before others. It just wasn't fair to call her ignorant. I sighed, my heart always felt heavy when talking to her. Sometimes she was as angry as her sister. At least I wouldn't feel as guilty that way. The magazine was a manifestation of her dream. Desserts, cake, and chocolate. From my perspective, these dreams would never come true. Even if she got the money, I don't think she would be able to bring you on a foodie tour. She looked at me with an expression on the verge of tears. Ja eben, scheint. Das war das Problem, dass nichts gestartet ist. Weil um 0 Uhr wollte ich ja den Stream starten und ich habe das Spiel ja vorher nicht getestet, weil es ja da rauskam zu dem Zeitpunkt. Und deswegen habe ich es nicht hinbekommen, das zu starten. Ich habe es dann eine Stunde später hinbekommen. Aber dann habe ich den Stream halt schon beendet und hatte ich keine Lust mehr, das zu streamen, habe ich es privat gespielt. Wenn ich es am nächsten Tag tagsüber angefangen hätte, nachdem ich schon Zeit hatte, um es in Ruhe zu installieren und zu starten und eine Testaufnahme zu machen, dann wäre das ja kein Problem gewesen. Seeing her depressed expression, I swallowed the words I was about to say and regret the fact I might have gone too far. I wanted her to see the reality, but didn't want to hurt her either. With that said, there could be a chance for that in the future. Really? Yep. Bestimmt. I repeat myself to give her confidence. The shaky light in the dark lightened up her young face. Oh, a light in the dark, title drop, which was filled with unease and sadness. She knew what her sister was doing. That very realization was what shaped her suffering. But she didn't have a choice. Could she stop her sister and convince her to focus on a proper job instead of kidnapping? There was obviously no way. Even an adult would not be able to give an answer, let alone a kid like her. She was not to be blamed here. The ones responsible were her parents, her guardian, or even her big sis. He said the thing. Or he thought the thing. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound. She was back. Immediately there were countless thoughts in my mind. I realized I had no time to hesitate. The footsteps were getting closer and my heart beat faster. I clenched and then let go of my hands in the pocket. The palms were drenched in sweat. Maybe, just maybe, if she did get the ransom, then it would be all over when she got here. No one would get hurt. They could restart their life, a happy ending like of all fairy tales. No matter how unlikely it was, I wanted to believe that slight chance, my last chance of escape as the wager. I seldom gamble on anything and this would be the only time I truly hoped to win. No more hesitation. Was my only chance. Ich wollte nicht Give Up auswählen. To be honest. Sunny raised my hand and pushed away the little girl with my elbow. Wir haben das kleine Girl gepusht. Her fragile frame fell to the ground with a weak scream. Should I cut open the rope or just run? Ist das eine Entscheidung? My thoughts were a mess, and my body moved on its own. Erstmal reinzoomen, I stumbled to the exit and forgot all about my plan. My feverish mind could only think of one thing: escape. Regardless of the method and who I would harm or kill, I would get out of here. What the fuck? I was at the door but couldn't open it. The trembling hand couldn't even hold the knob steady. Zoom. Was the sister coming back? Did the little girl stand up? Was it too late to grab the knife? The adrenaline ran up my mind blank, and within the chaos I couldn't open the door. Open now! Open the goddamn door, you fucker! I lost control and smashed both my hands against the door. The door made a squeaking sound and gave me hope. All of a sudden, time stopped. All the voice vanished, and my hyped emotion cooled down. What happened? Well, the blade cut through my chest, yet there was no pain, only an alien sensation of dissonance. I was stabbed? As though answering my question, all the feeling returned to my body at once. The fierce pain came with the torn muscle, and I heard myself screaming. There was no air in my chest. I tried to breathe, but felt the power leaving my body swiftly. Will I die? Will I die in this godforsaken place? No one knew and no one cared. My legs gave out and I kneeled to the ground. I should yell or start the bleeding. Yet, at this moment, I could think of only the fact that I would die. My Ling, are you? So teasing my futile effort, the girl returned and pushed open the door with ease. You. Shocked by the bloodshed before her, she was speechless. I'm sorry, You jerk, you! Couldn't take care of her mumbling sister. She rushed towards and supported me. The gushing blood stained her coat. She helplessly bit her lips. Feeling my life was escaping, I saw the little girl. She just stood there with eyes filled with fear, not believing what she had done. Strangely, I held no resentment against her. When the death was this close, nothing seemed to matter as much. Außerdem, naja, selbst schuld vielleicht. I wanted to tell her not to feel bad about this and that I didn't hate her. All that came out of my mouth was blood. You shit. Elaine, call the ambulance now. She made up her mind and called out to her little sister. Yet her voice sounded so far away. Why the ambulance for me? They didn't intend to end my life after all, even without the ransom, or... It became difficult for me to think. All the blood loss made my body cold. Everything became blurry before me. Don't you die now, you loser. Hang in there. I was dumbfounded by her panicking voice. It would be all over for me when I closed my eyes, but there would have countless problems to face afterwards. Where to run to? What to do without the money? Should they surrender? Whatever, none of it mattered. Powerlessly closed my eyes. When it ended, I feel the temperature in her hands. It was a warmth that was shared by everyone equally, regardless of upbringing or position. Ich glaube, der Zoom ist nicht absichtlich. Ja, auf jeden Fall haben wir ein schlechtes Ende bekommen. Großartig, oder? Wir können uns mal die Galerie angucken. 25% haben wir nur von CGs. 25%. Damn, fuck. Well, wie viele Tracks? 12 sind alle. Okay, wollte ich nur mal aus Interesse. Ich muss auch meinen Soundtrack commissionen. Ich frage mich, wie viele Tracks man so... Wie viele Tracks hat man denn so? Was ist denn so eine Anzahl von Tracks? I don't know. So, dann heißt es jetzt skippen. Ich habe die falsche Choice getroffen, offensichtlich. Bitte schneller. Bitte sag mir, dass es schneller wird. Oh Gott. Well, this is just sad. This isn't fast forward. This is slow forward. Hätte ich vorher speichern können übrigens. Vielleicht hätte ich vorher speichern. Ich weiß nicht, ist das hier speichern? Was ist das hier? Oder ist das der Log? Potentially. Ich will einfach dasselbe wie vorher. Warum kann ich nicht skippen? Oh Gott. Wir werden niemals wieder da ankommen. Never ever. Ich habe mir das angeguckt. Ich erinnere mich noch sehr gut daran. Ja, ich glaube, manuell skippen ist schneller. Tatsächlich. Das ist ein bisschen sad. Kann ich auch resten einfach. Tun wir das auch einfach. Durch den Zoom durchspeeden. Und sonst so? Wir haben einen schönen Abend. Nein? Vielleicht hätte ich, wenn ich hier nicht gewählt hätte, zu fragen, hätte ich vielleicht ausprobieren sollen jetzt gerade. Dann würde sie mir jetzt vielleicht was über Miss Wong erzählen. Ja, fuck, hätte ich vielleicht tun sollen, tatsächlich. Aber ich könnte ja She's your family sagen, zumindest. She's your family, right? If she was the culprit, she wouldn't have asked her to rest, nor brought them food. Family, She mumbled my words, but finally nodded affirmatively. If Miss Wong didn't help us, we wouldn't even have a place to live or people hiring us. Sort of big sis, Miss Wong is the only one helping us. Deep in her memory, she quietly recalled with her lowered head. Remember, she said the bread were leftovers, which means they are either from a bakery or a shopping mall. If it was a shopping mall, then they would probably also have bentos and rings. In other words, they used to work in a bakery. Guck mal, haben wir doch was gelernt. Toll, ne? Die mögen einfach Bäckereien allesamt. Das ist eine große Bäckerei-Story in Wahrheit. Gibt es noch was anderes Spannendes, was ich jetzt mir angucken kann? Ich glaube nicht. Habe ich mir das suddenly realized that I hadn't read any book in a while. Achso, toll. Color paper and origami cranes are scattered on the ground. All these clean folding lines are from the same hands of the young girl. Ja, sind sie wohl. Hat sie nicht gekauft, ne, die Kraniche. Was nehme ich so mal? 1000 Kraniche! Das heißt, die Kraniche erst einmal mal 1000 gemacht hat. Das heißt, wie werden die denn überhaupt 1000 Kraniche los? Wer kauft denn 1000 Kraniche? Das sind Papierkraniche. Papier. Tausend Seiten Papier gehen dafür drauf. Ich meine, wie oft haben die denn einen Origami-Killer da, der unbedingt Kraniche braucht, um die auf Leichen zu legen oder so? Das sind so Fragen, die ich mir einfach stelle. Ja, also das Spiel könnte auf jeden Fall, das ist mein größter Kritikpunkt bisher, es könnte eine bessere Skip-Funktion brauchen, wirklich. So, und jetzt werden wir aufgeben. Wäre das auch ein schlechtes Ende einfach. The girl entered the room with an icy expression. She had none of her usual cool anymore. Her messy hair spread across her shoulders and I could see nothing but rage and despair in her eyes. I knew the answer without asking. Big sis? Step aside. The little girl tried nervously to get closer, but only got shoved aside by her big sis, who walked towards me with big steps. And punched me in the face. Oh, nein, kicked me in my stomach. Das geht auch. Big sis! Shut up and step aside. Ja, das haben sie auch gesagt, dass man für 1000 Kraniche einen Wunsch erfüllt bekommt. Aber hat nicht funktioniert. Sie hat schon 1000 Kraniche gefaltet. Hat nicht geklappt, leider. Oh, if you're the same, all of you! She yelled at me hysterically as though trying to vent all her rage upon me. When she covered my head with my hands, trying to shield my crucial parts. There was a taste of blood in my mouth, my body spasmed uncontrollably, and even coughing up gastric juice didn't alleviate the sense of nausea. Every single time. Every time, every fucking time. I just want a normal life. Why do you have to force me? What do you want from me? The yelling and the crying, the initial burning pain seemed to gradually disappear. All the noise mixed into one everlasting sound in my ear, as though from somewhere far, far away. I naively thought it would work out. I gave up my chance like a coward, believing they would pay. I knew it from the very beginning. I gave up my chance of escape to embrace an unrealistic hope, and here I was. 1S 113 durch 2. Big sis, why? You said it would be alright. As though hearing her sister for the first time, the girl dropped her fist and faced the crying little girl. Her clenched fists were still trembling. Her standing posture appeared extremely lonely. Don't cry. I could hear her choking up and there were tears in her eyes, but she stubbornly refused to let them drop. I won't cry either. She bit her lips and said every word first forcefully. I will not cry no matter what. I knew it would be like this. I knew no one would believe me no matter what I did. From their perspective, we should all just go to hell. We're just some social problem. We should all just die. Just because we're poor and can't go to school. Why don't they just lock up everyone who has less than 20k in income? Everyone who doesn't have a middle school diploma should just get executed. What do they call us? Backup criminals? Social time bombs? Like this. Listen to me. No one will believe us and no one will help us. All we have is ourselves, got it? Was the declaration and accusation both, yelled straight from my soul's deepest place. She unclenched her fist. There were spots of blood on her gloves, and she just laughed, ignoring that. I know this goddamn world isn't fair. Hearing the familiar words, I finally understood the emotion behind them. It was neither helplessness nor acceptance, but rage and struggling against reality. Und damit haben wir Tag 5 geschafft. Hätten wir uns sparen können, ne? Die falsche Entscheidung. Also das finde ich wirklich blöd, dass es da keinen Speicherpunkt vorher gab oder irgendwas in die Richtung vorher gab. Oder dass es halt überhaupt diese offensichtlich falschen Antworten gibt. Aber ja, ich weiß nicht, vielleicht sollten wir wirklich einfach die ganze Zeit ruhig abwarten. Vielleicht ist es doch die richtige Lösung, ha? Einfach die Fresse zu halten. Vielleicht haben wir es gar nicht verdient zu überleben. It was morning. Immerhin hat sie uns nicht getötet. Entgegen unserer Erwartung. I didn't sleep well. The continuous series of incidents and the pain in my body made it difficult to fall asleep. I had arguments and the sound of things getting smashed in my half-sleep state, but I didn't notice anything off in the room. Wäre auch viel Arbeit gewesen, den Background dafür neu zu zeichnen, dass jetzt alles hier kaputtgeschlagen wurde. Aber naja. The taste of blood in my mouth was nauseating. All my muscles seemed to be twitching in pain. I staggered to my feet and tried to go rinse my mouth in the bathroom, but instead, I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I gave up and just left myself lying on the floor, feeling my chest upheaving through deep breathing. Every heartbeat reminded me of the fact I was still alive. I wasn't sure if she just woke up early or didn't sleep at all, but the girl was leaning against the window with half a burning cigarette in her hand. She just gave me a look when I fell down. The air was so heavy that no one bothered to say anything. Time flew, even the cigarette sparks started to fade. Another cigarette was lit and then it was out. The repetition continued until the whole pack was gone. Anything to eat? Her voice apparently shocked the girl, who immediately tensed her body up like an alarmed cat and jumped out of her chair. I was too scared to make any sound. She stared at me briefly before giving a long sigh while supporting her head. With bags on her eyes, she didn't even bother to complain. Still thinking about food? Are you nuts? Nothing is more important than food. Ich glaube, Wasser ist wichtiger. When you would have next, didn't have the spare energy to think about anything else but the present. Really? Would getting fat solve the problem? She threw the bread at me with a self-deprecating smile on her face. Immer werden wir mit Brot beworfen einfach. Sehr frech. Kann man ein bisschen höflicher machen, ein bisschen sanfter, ja? Ich kann mit beiden reden. Ich kann mit beiden reden. Das ist mal was Neues. Gibt es was Neues? Gibt es im Badezimmer was Neues? Ah ja, hier wurde irgendwie was zerstört, das dachte ich mir fast. Das gibt Unglück, das gibt Unglück. Das kann die 1000 Kraniche bestimmt ausgleichen. Shattered by violence, the mirror would no longer reflect anyone's face. Schade. Ich dachte, wir können es vielleicht... Oder hier unten. There are tons of shattered glass shards on the floor. I might get hurt by them if I'm not careful. Du könntest aber eine einpacken. I've tried playing with shattered glass before. My nanny nagged me for the whole afternoon after finding my hand covered in blood. Du sollst eine fucking Scherbe mitnehmen, Mann! What is going on in your head, dude? Das wär mal eine smarte Idee. Das wäre eine deiner ersten smarten Ideen heute. After a while, the little girl woke up as well. She sat up slowly on the bed. She looked at her sister first, then to me, then lowered her head helplessly. Whether it was her sister yelling at her or shaking her fist with an insane nasty face, these all must be unfamiliar to her. Zu blöd zum Problem. Ja, der will einfach gar nicht entkommen. Der tut nur so. Der lügt. She thought everything was under control. She thought if she listened to Big Sis, there would be money. Now she realized things were out of control. Not only would there be no money coming, they might have to face a penalty. The bubble of fantasy popped, leaving only the terrifying reality that made people uncomfortable. Have some food. The girl passed the breakfast to her sister. The little girl raised her head and looked at her big sis, hoping to hear some words of encouragement or explanation. There was nothing. The girl just leaned against the wall without a word. There were too many things to think about. The sister's feelings were the least of her concerns. The little girl didn't ask of anything. She knew no one could answer her question. Or perhaps she already knew the answer. She started to make paper cranes after finishing the sandwiches. Mechanical movements had no meaning. There will never be enough cranes to pay for the debt without the ransom. She knew that too, but that was all she could do. It was said that making 1,000 paper cranes would pass a wish, ich weiß. Looking at all the cranes on the floor, I wondered if her wish had been heard. Ich glaube nicht. Ich behaupte nicht. Ich meine, du hast ihn gehört, aber wem bringt das schon was? So in the end, no money. What are you trying to say? I want to say he doesn't give a crap about me. Better do your research next time you try the kidnapping. The long way led to this result. I could only laugh bitterly. That's not even funny. It's disgusting to become someone this hard to suit your money. One is a famous CEO, featured in a magazine and admired by many though. And that's why I say they're fucked up. She grunned next to the wall, looking at me with an expression of sympathy. So you stay away from folk like that or you might end up like them. Ich gebe mir Mühe. Like them, huh? Without noticing herself, she spoke of me as one of us instead of one of them. Ist doch schön, oder? Who knows, maybe getting kidnapped was not such a bad thing. Ja, vielleicht alles gut. Vielleicht ist das alles wichtig für unsere Zukunft. Wenn wir lebendig rauskommen. Ist halt die Frage, ob sie uns überhaupt töten will, ne? What do you want to say? I was interrupted by the girl when I tried to talk to her little sister. She warned me coldly. If you have something to say, say it to me. Don't talk to her without my permission. The young girl raised her head and stole a glance at me, but immediately went back to folding papers after hearing Big Sis's words. Styles ist eine großartige Idee, das wäre ein tolles Sequel. Das wäre ein tolles Sequel. Einfach zusammen jemand anderen dann entführen. So what do you plan to do next? Don't know. She replied without a second thought. Her expression was so deadpan I couldn't even tell if she was joking. Nein, offensichtlich nicht. Maybe the money will come in soon? She sort of glanced at me and snorted in displeasure. Stop saying things that even you don't believe. I'm not some 3-year-old. Ich meine, du hast es am Anfang noch geglaubt, obwohl ich am Anfang auch schon gesagt habe, dass das Geld nicht ankommen würde. Do you hope he sends the money over soon, though? Noticing the helplessness and seriousness in my voice, she didn't retort as usual, only quietly turned her head. Then pray harder. Mach ich. Hey. I was dozing off against the wall. She was next to me when I raised my head to her voice. I'm going to call you Dad. Cooperate if you don't want to get another beating. That was the first time she had struck up a conversation with me since yesterday. She seemed to have made up her mind, judging by her determined tone. Fine. She probably didn't expect me to play nice like this and start to examine me top to bottom with a surprised expression. I can go home as soon as he pays, right? I want to get this over with as soon as possible. We share the same goal here. You seem to get it. I don't care how much she has to pay. I'll just see it as compensation for ignoring me. How much is that worth? Lips formed into a rare smile. She started to press the buttons on the phone, just so fast as not giving herself time to regret. The little girl stopped her movements and held her breath for the upcoming developments. It was connected. Where's the money? The girl talked into the phone coldly. Anyone could sense the suppressed anger in her voice. Stop playing tricks with me. I still have your son. Do you really think I won't kill him? She was pulling her messy hair and biting her lips so hard that blood was close to oozing out. There was also a sense of panic in her tone. Unlike the careful negotiation process in movies, this was more like an emotional venting session. Don't give me that crap! She got more and more agitated, and eventually an angry fist landed on the desk, almost bumping everything to the floor. The little girl looked at her big sis. I could see the fear in her black eyes. Her two hands were stiffly blocking her chest as though to protect herself. As an accomplice, she didn't have the courage to ask. She could only wait for her next instruction from her sister. Cowardice, weakness. One could probably accuse the little girl of these things. However, relying on her sister was her only way of living. The girl walked towards me suddenly and pressed the phone against my ear after turning on the speaker. Tell you that to pay now. No funny business or you will be in trouble. Are you alright, Hao-chan? There was a deep voice from the other side of the phone. Responded absentmindedly, not sure what to say at that instant. Not due to familiarity or sentimental feelings, but more from the sense of distance between the two of us. Compared to father, even the kidnappers felt a little closer to me. Ja, wie gesagt, könnte echt unsere neue Familie einfach werden. Wäre vielleicht besser so. Don't worry, we are taking care of this. Things will be fine. If you really care about me, why haven't you paid? The words got stuck in my throat and I could feel my reluctance to speak up slowly fading. Whether it was the fear of being kidnapped, the pain in my body, or the illness that weakened me, I survived all of it. Yet his voice alone made me want to scream. We're gathering the money, but the amount is too high and we need more time. Stop lying. What did you say, Hao-chan? Are you okay? Stop this crap, just transfer the money if you still want to see your son alive. Noticing my abnormal actions, she grabbed the phone and spoke mockingly. Tell me a CEO can't get his hands on a few million Taiwan dollars. I know what you're playing at here. I'm warning you, if you don't transfer the money by midnight tonight, this will be the last time you ever hear your son's voice. Giving him a chance to respond, she hung up the phone without hesitation. Bastard. Ja, will einfach nicht überweisen, ne? Er hofft, das noch irgendwie anderweitig lösen zu können. Oder ist es ihm wirklich egal? Das ist halt die Frage. Das ist halt die Frage. Versucht er irgendwie, mich anderweitig herauszubekommen? Hat er irgendwie Leute angeheuert, um nach mir zu suchen? Oder... Ja, aber warum sollte er mich anlügen, ne? Also er hätte ja einfach sagen können, ja dann, nö, ich gebe dir das Geld nicht, töte ihn halt. Das hätte er ja auch einfach sagen können, wenn er halt nicht vorhat zu bezahlen. Deswegen wird er wahrscheinlich irgendwie auf eine andere Lösung hoffen. I guess. I don't know. After throwing the phone onto the desk, she saw the scared look on the little girl's face, as though asking what to do. She took a deep breath and managed to form a smile. It's okay. We'll be over soon. Okay. Man weiß es nicht. She tried to comfort her sister, but didn't seem to have that much confidence herself either. She pulled out the chair and took out a cigarette with a trembling hand. Noticing my stare, she hid her trembling left hand. What are you looking at? But I pray for your dad to pay soon if you're scared. I want that too. So, having probably never thought of this turn of events, she couldn't do anything but threaten me. She wanted this to be over as much as I did. All these risks were for the money. Without the ransom, the hostage was just a burden. If she really couldn't get the ransom, her best option was to escape, rather than waiting for the police to come. How could I convince her to give up? Aren't you overreacting back there? Trying to start a fight with your dad or something? His voice pissed me off. She didn't care about me and only acted like a good dad now. In the end, he still refused to pay. Could at least have done a better job faking that, huh? Prioritizing money over your own son. You guys are fucked up. Gerade war ich noch einer von euch, ja? Entscheide ich mal, wer ich bin, was ich bin. Able to hide exhaustion, she supported her head while mumbling. I didn't get it either. I thought the world was a delicate machine, moved as it was designed, and we all took great pride in it. Yet ever since my mother's affair, I learned the machine was not as perfect as I'd imagined. I discovered more problems the older I got. The rusty pieces were hard to use, and the worn cogs were making strange sounds. The once great machine looked like a stupid pile of scrap. That's right, the world is far from perfect. And we all live in this imperfect world, struggling for survival. Und es regnet. I could hear drops of rain outside the window, which then turned into a shower, turning the window into a water curtain. The temperature was lower now, even with the coat I could feel the... even with the coat I could feel the cold sinking in through the neckline. The window was covered in mist. The girl paced back and forth before the window. It was long past the transfer time. Any money transferred wouldn't be visible until tomorrow. I could only wait, something we'd done a lot the past few days. No matter how long it was, this wait was still hard to deal with. So be it, I heard her mumbling when she stopped pacing. Keep an eye on him, I will be right back. Wer? Ulti? Ja, Ulti lebt noch, ich weiß, es ist wirklich ein schockierendes Vorkommen. Soll es nächste Woche da sein? Nächste Woche, jetzt werde ich vielleicht einen Just Chatting Stream machen, vielleicht auch nicht. Vielleicht auch nicht, man weiß es nicht. Weil ich habe nächste Woche Geburtstag. Spoiler. Mal gucken, was passiert. Vielleicht auch nicht. Vielleicht passiert gar nichts. Vielleicht mache ich dir unnötige Erwartungen. Nur heute ist ein schlechter Zeitpunkt, um einen Stream zu gucken von mir, denn ich bin in einer Visual Novel. Wahrscheinlich eher gegen Ende der Visual Novel. Ist also wahrscheinlich nicht so spannend, da reinzuspringen. Jetzt gerade, spontan. The girl left this instruction before heading out with her phone. I had no idea who she was going to call. There was no other option but to surrender or escape. How many have you made? I got a chance to talk to the little girl. I saw her nimbly fold and twist the paper. The finished cranes had piled into a small mountain next to her feet. Ach. I don't know. Movements slowed down while talking. She pointed to the colored paper next to her. There will be 1,000 once these are all finished. Das reicht ja dann, ne? Solange du das weißt. Let me help. Kannst du falten? I was bored anyway, so I took out a colored paper to help. It was difficult. I'd forgotten how to make a paper crane, so I could only try to copy her steps. My hands weren't really nimble. She'd already made a ton of them by the time I'd finished one. Even though we followed the same steps, my crane looked super lousy. Even that was all wrinkled together. Dafür kriegst du aber kein Geld. Your crane is ugly. Also lass es vielleicht lieber. Du machst ihr Papier kaputt. Dann, wünsche ich dir viel Appetit. Guten Appetit und eine gute Nacht. Oder einen guten Abend noch. Genau. Ciao, ciao. Schön, dass du vorbeigeschaut hast trotzdem. I didn't know when she'd stopped her movements, looking at my crane in its sorry shape. She gave an honest comment. There's no way I'd make one as good as yours in my first attempt. Also, my hands are tied. My first was still better than yours. Big deal. Just treated this one as crippled or something, and the next one, huh? Tried to grab another paper, and she saw her take my completed work and unfold it. This wouldn't work. Really? It is still paper crane, albeit an ugly one. You can't make a wish out of this. Never. Vor allem kannst du es nicht verkaufen. She responded plainly, a determined look, left no space for negotiation. Its point is I've not done correctly. The broken paper crane could be fixed. What about broken people? Kannst du die auch einfach auffalten und wieder anders und wieder neu falten? Why does God make everyone different? Wouldn't there be far less arguments if there was only one kind of person? This thought came to my mind before I remembered a more important matter. Getting out of this conundrum. Do you think you can convince your sister? Didn't have much time, so I cut right to the chase. Convince Big Sis. You know, how messy this has become, right? She might get arrested if this keeps going. You wouldn't be able to escape by then. I talked to her with all the sincerity I could muster. I hoped all the accumulated trust was enough to make her believe in me. Just let me go and I will hand you all my money. I can also mislead the search. You just need to convince her. Habe etwas gehört? Ein Geräusch? Ja, und zwar sie. Convince me of what? I interrupted my sentence and stepped into the room. You heard that too, right? If you let me go. I tried to make my point of her directly, but she just pushed me aside and walked to her sister. Save it, I have something to tell her. There was no hesitation in her look. She seemed to have made some important decision. Giving up? Knowing there was no chance to get the ransom, she decided to escape with her sister. The little girl obediently walked towards her sister with unease on her raised face. Maybe. Das wäre zu simpel, oder? Go home now. Some words with a major implication. The little girl didn't move and couldn't make any sound despite having her mouth opened. Go to Miss Wang's place. I've told her about it. But... She tried to plead for an explanation, but all she got was an impatient response. Never come back here, got it? What about Big Sis? The girl helplessly squeezed out these words. She couldn't even ask why. She could only wait like a convict before the judgment was passed. Ja, weil zumindest sie sollte ja in Ruhe gelassen werden, ne? Solange sie nicht mehr zusammenleben. Ich denke, die sind nur hinter der großen Schwester hinterher, wenn dann. I figured something out. There's no need of you here. She said the words coldly and tried to avoid the girl's gaze. Can I stay here? Unable to get her desired answer, she sadly lowered her head and pleaded with a tiny voice. There's no time. Shook her head and sighed. Ignoring her sister, she started to pick up the paper cranes and pack them up. 1, 2, 3. She held up the paper cranes and with a simple movement, they all fell into the plastic bag. Never come back here, just ask Miss Wong for anything. Help out as much as you can, don't cause her trouble. There was no energy behind those words. The two felt silent. I could only hear raindrops echoing in my empty room. In the empty room. Ich weiß nicht, warum ich my empty room gesagt habe, aber mittlerweile ist es schon quasi mein Zimmer. Ja, doch. Schon mein Zimmer. Ich wohne hier. Vorübergehend. The slender hands, colorful paper cranes in the echo of the rain. She picked up the last one and threw it easily into the bag. And the moment came that there were no more cranes to pick up. So was the moment of separation. Time stopped. Thousands of words seemed to be exchanged within this silence. When you spend enough time with someone, many things could be communicated without being said. There were good things or things you wanted to hide away. Big Sis. The little girl's voice was trembling. The girl's voice was light and soft. Will you come back? The girl paused and didn't answer. Whether she couldn't or didn't want to had the same meaning. Her long hair covered her face and I couldn't see her expression. Yet her upheaving chest revealed her struggle. I don't care what happens as long as I am with Big Sis. As long as I'm with Big Sis. Can't I? Facing her sister's pleading, the girl didn't say a word. They looked at each other. A tear slid down the little girl's face and left a mark on the floor. What are you crying for? I'm not dead or anything. Aber du könntest sterben. In Zukunft, in naher Zukunft. The girl lightly patted her head with a soft smile on her face. Take care of yourself. I'll be back when this is over. Seemingly losing the power of speech, the girl just nodded. Yet the tears didn't stop falling. Off you go now. It's late and it's raining. Watch that you don't slip when you're walking, okay? The little girl didn't move until her sister gave her a push, gesturing for her to leave quickly. Before leaving, the little girl gave me a look. I could sense the despair and pleading in her eyes. What did she want me to do? Ask her to give up? Or convince my father to pay? I could do neither. All I could do was wait. I was left alone in the room, accompanied only by the rain, as I listened to the sound of them walking down the stairs and awaited the end. After sending her sister off, the girl returned to the room, shook off the raindrops on her coat, and sat back in the wooden chair and thought. She appeared to be much calmer after making up her mind. She tilted her head and looked at the rainy night outside the window. The lowered eyelids gave out a sense of serenity. No. Smoking? What? You want one too? No. Thought there would be scolding or teasing, so a plain reaction was unsettling. Why are you making that face? Thought you would be mad. What's the point of getting mad? With a knife, she seemed to be more direct without her sister's presence. Ja, mittlerweile hat sie aber aufgegeben, ne? Hat auch keinen Sinn mehr, wütend zu sein auf mich. If beating you would make your dad pay, you would have been beaten to death by now. I'm really convincing from someone who beat the crap out of me yesterday. Shut up. If contemplating, I figured now would be the best time. Talking to her one-on-one without concern. Hey. Can you just be quiet? A proposal. Not interested. Just let me finish. Hearing unhesitating rejection, I sighed awkwardly. Was as though seeing a smirk somehow made me feel a little more relaxed. Was? Nein, warum sage ich die ganze Zeit one? Warum fange ich mit one an? Da steht keine one. 037533162, okay. Huh? A debit card password. The one on my back. What's that for? Her dark eyes stared at me in confusion. She tried to figure out my intention. There's about 700 to 800k in the account. I got the money in it. You can drag me there if you think it's a trick. The situation had changed since the first time I brought up that proposal. She didn't have a better option. She knew the chance of getting the ransom was low. That was why she had let her sister leave first to keep her out of trouble. Go wherever you want once you get the money. You can just untie me and leave me here too. You want money, right? It isn't much, but that's still more than the million of Taiwan dollars she would never get. Fearing that I might trigger her pride, I hesitated on what to say. Still better than going to jail? She'd guessed my thoughts from my hesitation. Finishing my sentence for me, she burst into laughter. I could see a strange light in her eyes. What's that? Are you pitying me now? No, it's not that. Since it had come to this, I didn't even bother to sugarcoat my words. I decided to tell her my true thoughts. My understanding from days of interactions and questions was troubled my mind. Why can some people hire a private tutor while they didn't even have a chance to take classes? Why can some people talk about delicacies when they don't even have the money to have a proper meal? You're right, society is unfair. I repeated her favorite line. Das hat sie noch nie gesagt. Sie hat noch nie gesagt, society is unfair. Also wirklich nicht. There was no emotion, just a factual statement. Rich people can hire tutors when the countryside doesn't even have enough schooling. Some people have parents who figure out their career path. They can become managers regardless of their capability or personality, while others will never climb up the ladder. They keep saying there is no discrimination based on upbringing, everyone has a chance through effort. So started the whole business on their own. Wir werden langsam zum Kapitalismus-Hater. Bestes Character Development ever. Best character development. But it has nothing to do with effort. Why would some people have to put in much more effort to succeed? Where's the fairness in that? If I didn't have enough food and had to deal with debt, I might have done the same as you. I wasn't trying to justify the crime, but perhaps people didn't have the right to condemn them from higher ground. They kept saying things like, why society is so messed up, or you shouldn't commit crimes no matter what, but refused to help them. They attributed all their success to effort, while all their failures came from their environment or luck. It was nothing but arrogance when those people who lived a carefree life condemned others for committing crimes for the sake of survival. I'm just lucky. I shrugged and concluded. I didn't kill or rob someone, not because I have a better sense of justice or integrity, but because I'm lucky enough to not have to make that choice. Probably never expecting me to say all these things, she looked at me speechless. The lamp cast a light on her face. She wanted to say something, but after a while she just sighed. What's the point of saying all this? Even if you realize it was... what would that change? What do you think saying that will make me feel better? I'm just telling you my perspective. You don't want this life, right? You want to live with your sister, right? Her body shook at the moment mention of her sister. In the end, family was the one thing she couldn't let go of. I know your past. No one would end up becoming a kidnapper if they had the choice. You should hide once you get the money. I won't tell anyone about this. They wouldn't know, even if I just bullshit everything. No way it would go that smoothly. Still better than waiting to be arrested here. I directly interrupted her. She didn't retort. I think the cops will keep looking for you, so you have to figure something out. Shrugged and told her the truth. Kidnapping was a public prosecution crime. You would be in trouble no matter what I said. Do you trust me? The sound of rain started to die down. There's only sounds in the room. You could tell the girl was struggling next to the window. I proposed this to her. She said she couldn't trust me. She had no insurance in letting me go. She couldn't do anything if I broke the promise. The only condition for this deal to work was that she could trust me. I initially didn't feel there was much to tell these people, who were nothing but rich-hating whiners. However, I realized we weren't that different, except in our upbringing and education. Und außerdem hasse ich auch reiche Leute, tatsächlich, obwohl ich reich bin. Isn't that sad? We could still understand each other through communication. I believe in you. Finally heard her response amidst the rain. But it's too late for that. There's determination in her cold voice, different from her initial look of panic. She now seemed to be as calm as a lake surface. Too late. Noticing my expression of disappointment, she smiled and turned her face back to the window. I said it before, didn't I? It was too late since a long, long time ago. Ha. My tense-up body fell backward like a broken spring. All the hyped-up emotion cooled down instantly. All the hyped-up emotion cooled down instantly ist, glaube ich, das zweite Mal, dass wir das heute gelesen haben. Obwohl das so eine spezifische Zeile ist. It's far more frustrating to successfully convince someone, not be able to change anything, than not convincing someone at all. I didn't know what her goal was. Why wasn't she willing to concede? Knowing there would be no chance to get the money. She couldn't wait any longer before the police came. She should just trust me and wait till everything was blown over. I yawned tiredly. I hadn't been doing much, but the emotional roller coaster and illness had made me exhausted. Just sleep. Noticing my tired expression, she covered herself in a blanket, turned off the light, and sat next to the door. It became pitch black in the room. There was no starlight or road lamp. I couldn't even see the room clearly. I decided to break the silence. Please don't just pick me up and dump me on top of a mountain. What a great idea. I'll keep that in mind. If you're gonna do it quick. I'd rather die instantly than suffer through it. You're such a weirdo. Am I? Das ist so ein Kompliment. Ja, ach, wirklich. It isn't. Both of us felt silent. The rain started to get heavy again, as though it was never going to end. Still awake? Didn't hear a response, but I could feel her gaze somehow. Let me know if you change your mind. Right. I heard that nonchalant response after a moment of silence. I could vaguely see her through the darkness, sitting against the wall and facing me. I could see that her eyes were looking somewhere past me, far, far away. In that instant I wanted to know, what kind of future did these pupils reflect? Keine. Gut, ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt machen wir mal eben Pause. Mein Mund wird trocken und so. So viel lesen ist dann doch immer anstrengend, ein bisschen. Immer noch. Also ja, wie spät ist es? Ja, ich würde sagen, so um 10 wird es weitergehen. Grob. Bis gleich. So. Sorry, hat ein bisschen länger gedauert. Ich habe mich noch entschieden, dass ich ein Brot essen möchte. Ein trockenes Brot. Weil ich hatte also das Ding ist, ich hatte so Brot genommen. So, ich könnte das jetzt noch belegen, aber ich habe keine Zeit, um noch ein ganzes Brot zu essen. Habe ich so ein paar Mal abgebissen. Ist okay. Jetzt ist das halbe Brot auch schon weg. Packe ich das halbe Brot wieder ein. Was mache ich jetzt mit dem halben Brot? Habe ich das andere halbe Brot auch noch gegessen? Und dann habe ich das ganz trockene Brot gegessen und deswegen ist es jetzt ein paar Minuten länger gedauert. Weil ich eigentlich nicht vorhatte, das ganze Brot zu essen, sondern nur so ein bisschen kurz abzubeißen, so kurz ein bisschen zu snacken. You know? Okay. Who cares? Who the fuck cares, right? Aber. Habe ich, okay. Habe ich extra für dich gemacht, Styles. War geplant so. Genauso und nicht anders. Ich mach, glaube ich, mal ein bisschen dunkler. Oder? Mach ich dunkler? So. So. Mache weiter mit. Oh. Gut, da haben wir tatsächlich den Title Drop. Ganz offiziell. Day 7, A Light in the Dark. It was the same dream. There was no sky nor ground, only endless darkness. I couldn't control my thoughts despite being fully conscious. It felt like watching some old documentary. I heard intermittent sounds that seemed to be made by cats or sobbing children. I tried to find the source of the sound, but there's only darkness around me. I couldn't take hold of anything while listening to it. I had no choice but to search blindly, oblivious to the passage of time. Eventually, I saw something. It was an empty living room. The desk was scattered with all kinds of things. Wine glasses, a medicine bag, books, and papers. Mother was lying on the sofa in her pajamas and with messy hair. She was crying with her face covered. Did this really happen? Or was it all a fabrication? The living room was always spotless and clean in my memory, and my mother was always radiant with makeup on. So why couldn't I remember all this? Confusion and fear turned to waves that engulfed me back to the darkness. Irgendeine Erinnerung, die du unterdrückt hast? Die du verdrängt hast? Kriegen wir noch einen großen Plot-Twist heute? Das ist die Frage, die ich mir stelle. Hat diese Vision noch einen Plot-Twist? Ich weiß es halt nicht. Es könnte wirklich eine Story sein, die einfach endet. Die einfach dann sagt, ja, okay, der Vater hat nicht bezahlt, dann Leben ist jetzt scheiße und mache jetzt weiter mit Scheißleben und sterben jetzt alle. Keine Ahnung. Es gibt halt verschiedene Enden. Ich weiß, dass es mehrere Enden gibt. Deswegen könnte es halt viele Möglichkeiten davon geben, was genau da am Ende passiert, ne? Aber dass es halt einfach damit endet. Ohne dass es noch irgendwie eine große Auflösung oder sowas gibt. Deswegen, ich weiß gar nicht, ob es irgendwie einen Twist geben wird. Auch wenn es halt immer wieder angedeutet wird, dass es irgendwo Verbindungen gibt zwischen uns und den anderen Charakteren hier und weiß nicht. Sehe ich noch nicht so ganz. What came to my vision was the girl right before my face. She squatted before me and just kept staring at me without blinking. Did you just enjoy scaring people like this? I Lucy protested, even without malice. It was still not pleasant having someone staring at you when you woke up. What, do you think I would do something to you while you slept? Seeing her panicking expression, she smirked. What do you want? Don't move. She grabbed my hand without my permission. The pain when she touched my wounds made me try to shake off her grip, but they didn't faze her. She rolled up my sleeve, revealing the nasty purple-black color across my arm. I saw the swollen wounds marked with blood, like some scary totem. She just grabbed my hand without saying anything. I didn't know what she wanted, but didn't resist either, since I didn't sense any ill intention. Yet she didn't do anything, just looked at me quietly. What, finding me too attractive? I couldn't bear the unease and spoke. Yet I have no interest in a pussy like you. Verständlich. Sehr verständlich. I tried to joke around, but only got the look from her. Does it still hurt? She lowered her glance and touched my wound slightly. Trembling eyelashes seemed to hide some unspeakable emotion. It's alright. It wasn't treated when I got hurt and probably would take quite some time to recover. I was lucky it didn't damage the bone. She grunted and let go of my hand. It was unbelievable, but she seemed to regret the fact of hurting me the day before. She kidnapped me, and yet didn't really want to hurt me. She hated to be discriminated against, yet was full of bias against the rich. Perhaps even she was aware of all these contradictions. So, what now? What do you think? She returned to the question with a self-deprecating expression that was hard to look at. She sat back by the window and took out a phone. Then heard the sounds of text messaging. The sound of rain and typing intertwined, becoming a peaceful melody that echoed within the room. So, what now? Observe. Was gibt es noch zu observen? Ist irgendwas Neues aufgetaucht? Sind nur Sachen verschwunden, ne? Also, ist was im Bad passiert? Nö. Die Scheiben sind immer noch hier, you know? Okay, da halt nicht. Only soldiers, some tech manufacturers still use this kind of antique cell phone. Even old people use smartphones these days. Old phones can't connect to the internet or leave a traceable GPS signal. You can only track location through this phone call. Is that why she uses it? Oder weil sie kein Geld für was Besseres hat, für was Moderneres? Vielleicht eine Mischung aus beidem. Bestimmt redet sie noch mit ihrem Vater. So you were a straight-A student. The girl paused upon hearing me, then awkwardly turned to look at me. What the hell did she tell you? Realizing you could have leaked that secret, she sighed with resignation. Gibt nicht viele Möglichkeiten, ne? Nicht viele Optionen. So what, you have a problem with that? No, just found it interesting. Maybe things would be different if she had stayed in school. Have you sought out government aid, like from the Department of Social Welfare or the district office? Her father missing and mother having passed away, they could have applied for low-income relief, and maybe the government could make some arrangements to help them settle down somewhere. It'd be quite incompetent if they couldn't even take care of such a case. Not qualified. Not qualified? Only those where everyone else in their family is that kind of something? What the hell did she tell you? She impatiently sighed. Haven't you woken up? Don't you get it? Those sitting in their office chairs, those that make the laws, think everything is in order and organized. Poor people can apply for low income, people in debt should file bankruptcy. The law only seems to protect everyone. You keep saying, why don't you do this and that? There must be another way. What if the world is really that nice and dandy? Why do I need to kidnap you? Ja, wer weiß, ob du das tun hättest müssen. Das ist ja seine Vermutung, dass du es nicht hättest tun müssen. Save your breath. We know what reality is like, unlike you who live in a dream, thinking all those crimes are just special cases. Just wait. As long as you keep thinking like that, those cases will never disappear. Finishing a declaration, she shrugged and started laughing. Oh, that's none of my business now. Hell no, I don't even know where he is. Well, I guess he's probably hiding somewhere abroad. No, he's not that rich, none of his buddies are that nice. He's probably just hiding somewhere, picking up some part-time jobs here and there, and just mulling along with no thought of tomorrow, or maybe already kicked the bucket. Oh? I didn't expect her to describe it so vividly, as though she saw it herself. It's already 7 by the time I left, so I have some memories of him. He was one of those rich people, but somehow thought he could make as much money as with them anyway. He always boasted about what our lives would be like once he got rich. And now he doesn't even have the balls to come home. Hilarious. Perhaps it was the recollection that led to dissatisfaction. In contrast, the little girl didn't seem to care as much. Perhaps even she didn't notice herself the sympathy and pity hidden deep under all her complaints. Wie alt ist das kleine Mädchen? Also wie viel jünger das kleine Mädchen vor allem? Ich meine, sie kann ja höchstens 6 Jahre jünger sein. Sieht halt mehr jünger aus, möchte ich behaupten, aber keine Ahnung. Aber ja, sie könnte halt höchstens irgendwie 6 Jahre jünger sein dann, wenn der Vater mit 7 abgehauen ist. Got the money? Huh, no. She gave a straight answer without a change in her cold expression. She put the phone back in her pocket and looked at the scenery outside of the window, then spoke calmly. Doesn't matter, I've made up my mind. Made up your mind? Hearing the implication within those words, I tried to confirm with her. Uh-huh. She grunted in response, keeping her gaze focused somewhere far away. What? Does that mean call it a day? How perceptive of you. She flashed a naughty grin at me, to which I could only reply with a bitter smile. It wasn't that funny when you tried to joke about this sort of thing. You're surrendering yourself, or did you find somewhere to hide? Couldn't think of other options, yet she only shrugged nonchalantly. You'll find out eventually. That only makes me even more concerned. I didn't think she would end my life, yet her strange calmness made me nervous. If there was a backup plan, then she wouldn't have been panicking the days before. Why was there such a great change of attitude overnight? Like a tune without harmony, the dissonance slowly expanded in my heart. Never believed in overnight enlightenment. Hearing someone say how they realized the truth of the world and gained a new life after joining some cult was more unbelievable than the plot of a bad sci-fi film. The value you held true for decades could be changed with a few words, then what was the point of living? Bisschen drastisch. Hey. Also, ich weiß nicht, was das mit dem Grund dafür überhaupt zu leben zu tun hat, aber alright. Huh? What do you want? Seeing through my attempt, she laughed. What, scared? Shitless, and rather sometimes prepare myself mentally like saying a prayer or leaving my will. Oh, you're a religious man? Not really, but might as well be for my imminent death. Wie war das nochmal mit, warum lebt man überhaupt, wenn man seine Überzeugung von einem Moment auf den anderen einfach ändern kann? I don't know. She changed her pose against the wall, yet her gaze hadn't left the phone while answering me. Where will you go after getting the money? Falls du das Geld bekommst. Anywhere. Taiwan is a big place. Still staying in Taiwan. Thought she was prepared to go abroad and hide there till it was all over. Where else then? She asked with one eyebrow raised. I'm not good at finding loopholes or managing money laundering of overseas accounts. Those folks steal all this money yet never pay the price. There's no way for us to compare with them. We most can just manage some puny kidnapping and robbery to get money at the risk of our lives. All because we're not educated. The words are filled with self-mockery and hatred. There's even a sense of self-abuse when someone as proud as her was saying that. Considering all the developments till now, plus her words, I finally put all the puzzle pieces together. You are a scapegoat, aren't you? With that train of thought, many things started to make sense. Why'd she get into this mess with her sister? Why did she know so much about me despite being a lousy kidnapper? The creditor gave her the information about the kidnapping and told her it was a chance to pay off all the debt plus earn some extra cash to start a new life. To avoid responsibility, they didn't even provide any sort of assistance. Thus, why she had to enlist her sister's help. But the true culprit, there was nothing to lose. There would be tons of cash waiting for them if it worked out, and no trouble anyway if it failed. They had no choice but to gamble on this opportunity. They forced you to. I made the decision. As though knowing what I was about to say, she glared at me. You think I'm a kid? Like a fool that knows nothing? Spare me. I will take responsibility for my actions instead of involving others. I couldn't come up with a response to her words. She could have pushed it all on other people, yet she chose to bear it all herself. My sister didn't know anything. She just followed my instructions. Expression darkened upon mentioning her sister, pressing her lips as though holding something in. She didn't have some exceptional determination letting her carry all this weight. She was just pushing herself. I then realized how similar we were. Isn't it always like this? Das war bemerkt. Eigentlich sind ich und der Antagonist oder die Antagonistin uns gar nicht so unähnlich. Ready to be seen as weak, and the idea of becoming the people we despised. Both hated this world, except she chose to resist with crime, and I chose to escape. Never saw someone this eager to be arrested. You're messed up. I must be. I would have killed myself like my mom a long time ago. She saw the carelessly. There was no sadness in her voice, as though she was just recalling yesterday. Arming herself like a hedgehog, she refused to give up despite the challenge. She made it this far with the dream of a better tomorrow. If even that couldn't be granted, what else was left for her? Couldn't help but feel sympathy. Hearing the text message notification, she glanced at it briefly. Geld? Of course. What? paying me no mind at all. She just lowered her head. There's no usual abusive aura, and in its place was some abnormal calm. She closed her eyes and sighed, then started dialing. Who are you calling? None of your business, as always. Where's the money? She cut right to the chase and kept going before getting a full response. I'm done talking. She showed her hand in a spirited manner. This was totally different from her usual tone. She wasn't in a hurry, as though she didn't even care about her ransom anymore. Something changed. A sense of unease weighed heavily on my chest, and I used to be able to somehow guess her thoughts, yet I still couldn't figure out this crucial decision that she had made. Enough. Do you think I don't know what you're just stalling? You're all the same. Think everything is under control and the others are all idiots. I could hear sounds from the other side of the phone, but she ignored all those and continued. Just because you're lucky enough to earn a little more money than others, you thought everything should follow your way? We should all listen to you? Give me a break. There was clear hatred in her voice. She coolly delivered her final words. Then so be it. I will make you regret everything. She hung up the phone and threw it at the table. She got the last cigarette from the box and let the smoke drift through the room. What? Say something. Sensing my hesitation, she asked me. I was thinking how to word this in a way that it wouldn't trigger her. Seeing me not answering, she found and pushed me a little. Shoot, weren't you quite a talker not too long ago? Well, I learned my lesson. It's what humans are good at. I wanted from the start, but you didn't listen. So did you give up, or what? The heavy mood was disrupted by the conversation. I ignored the last bit of worry in my mind and found the courage to talk. Yeah, I knew anyone would prioritize money over his own kid. Probably still wouldn't cough up the money even if I murdered you. There was a bit of smile on her face. I did hope for some moving miracle, but here was the reality. Without trust between the two parties, there would be no negotiation. Even if you paid the money, the kidnapper could still break the deal. There's no insurance for the family. It was the most logical and accurate course of action, yet it made my heart ache like some bug bite. So am I free to go? Is there anything but freeing you? Don't get the wrong idea. I don't pity you. You're still way more well off than us. True. Musst du mich deswegen umbringen? Komm schon. Komm schon. She leaned over while raising her eyebrow. It was so close I could smell the tobacco. What's the point of keeping me if there's no money involved? For the record, I can't cook or clean well. I'm a bad choice for a housekeeper. Who knows? She raised the corner of her mouth as though enjoying toying with me. You're really falling for me, aren't you? Maybe another 10 years, rich boy. Doch keine Dating-Sim? Sehr enttäuschend. He squatted while replying and started to tighten the rope. To make sure I couldn't get out of it. Is this still necessary? The rope rubbing my wounds created a new wave of pain. I couldn't help but complain about it. I need to head out. You just wait here. Hey, when will you be back? What if I need to go to the toilet? Hold it then. I'll be back once I grab a few things. Grab what? Have fun guessing. Running her protest, she left. What was she thinking? Hearing her footsteps getting further away, I could figure out the current state of events. I couldn't do anything but sigh heavily. As for myself in the room, and no one would hear me no matter how loud I yelled. My limbs were tied up so tight I couldn't even stand, let alone escape. I started listening to the rain out of boredom and waiting for the passage of time in silence. I suddenly realized how pessimistic I'd become. I wasn't scared as much as I used to, nor focused on escaping. Realizing this was coming to an end, I had given up even the desire to gamble. Ganz ehrlich gesagt, du hast nie versucht zu entkommen. Also, ich habe nie versucht zu entkommen, dadurch hast du auch nie versucht zu entkommen. Wobei doch, einmal habe ich versucht zu entkommen, einmal habe ich versucht, Scherben im Bad aufzuheben. Aber nur so am Rande. I remember our conversation from last night. It was said with full honesty after understanding helplessness and anger. Even in the 21st century, we still live in a world not so different from the past, where your upbringing was destined at birth. Despite all the claims of freedom and choice and competition, we're still born different. Look at all those rich folks having a headache over a business problem. Are they truly happier? Those who fail to blame it on the environment, whilst those who succeed credit themselves. Ich würde aber zustimmen, dass du nichts dafür kannst, dass du reich bist und das deswegen jetzt nicht unbedingt verdient hast, ermordet und gekidnappt zu werden. Oder andersrum. Aber ja. Using those vague words to numb yourself, you can choose to ignore the unfair world around us. Normal people would just gripe about it briefly. How much hatred could someone who had difficulty in having a normal life harbor? A sudden depression, the hot breath turned into white smoke in the freezing air. Wrong. Perhaps we all know about it too well. But we only chose to tell ourselves these lies since we couldn't change it. Just like now, I couldn't change anything even though I understood their pain. Und Nacht. I heard footsteps in the stairway, and then the sound of the door opening. I grew speechless when I saw her. What's that? Supermarket sale? There were two gigantic plastic bags of stuff in her hand, different from my savvy demeanor. This looked more like an upstart. She took up my bag matter-of-factly and left it on the desk after whirling it a little. It's not my money, dachte ich mir nämlich. Yeah, an upstart, alright. So you're staying quiet. Should have done that earlier. She held her head, apparently not used to seeing me this obedient. What else could I do? Crack my head against the wall? That would have saved me the trouble. She dumped all the food on the desk, as though she just robbed a convenience store clean. Das wäre auch eine Option gewesen. The other bag was all alcohol. All sorts of beer cans lay on the desk. More than enough for two. Hey. She suddenly passed me a beer. Drink with me. Me? Who else is here? What now, in a good mood? Whatever your call. Sure thing. Grabbed the beer before she changed her mind. Confused as I was, I didn't plan to let go of what I could get. She opened the microwave spaghetti, which made the whole room smell like butter. A scent more enticing than anything I'd ever smelled. Hat sie eine Mikrowelle? Ah, gut, wir haben die Küche nicht gesehen, also entsprechend. Here, this is yours. Is this the last supper? Still not knowing her plan, I asked half-jokingly. Last supper, huh? She muttered with head tilted, then gave a nonchalant smile. Maybe. That was a bad joke right there. But I really couldn't care less when there was hot food right before me. I took the food, but had difficulty removing the wrap. Can you loosen the rope? Why? No need to worry about me escaping. I don't plan to leave here before finishing my food, even if you open the door and put a red carpet there. Don't be ridiculous, it's just a microwave bento from the convenience store. Just to be clear, I will kill you if you try to run. Ah, alright. She did loosen up the rope after leaving the thread. I still couldn't use my hands freely, but using the fork was no problem. I quickly opened the box and dived into the food. The hot sauce spread within my mouth and warmed up my stomach and heart. Finally having a proper meal after several days, I was almost moved to tears. Oh god, I didn't know microwave food could be this tasty. Kann schon, es gibt gutes Mikrowellenessen. Es gibt diesen Reis, der kommt in so einer Box. So geformt. Der ist gut. Kann ich empfehlen. Sehr teuer, aber gut. She responded absent-mindedly, compared to me wolfing down the food. She barely ate anything and kept drinking the alcohol. It's easy to get drunk if you don't eat something. She clearly wanted to get herself drunk like that. Worrying what might happen next, I tried to remind her about it. Be quiet, isn't that what you want? I didn't invite you to drink with me to hear your nagging. I'll throw you off a cliff if you don't start drinking. Aye, ma'am. I had no choice but to raise the bottle after hearing her threat. Das ist keine Flasche, das ist eine Dose. She was a surprisingly quiet drinker, with one hand in her pocket and leaning against the wall, like a silent statue. It wasn't really that enjoyable to drink beer in this cold weather. Luckily my body started to warm up and I could focus better. I kept myself conscious by eating food and drinking only low alcohol beer. Hey. What? What do you mean when you said it's too late yesterday? You're quite a talker. She turned her head away and sighed impatiently. Na, tatsächlich hat sie ihren Kopf zu uns gedreht und nicht weggedreht, aber na gut. With her index finger sliding on the edge of the beer can. It's more strange to stay quiet when drinking together like it's some funeral. Whatever. She Showing no interest in the subject, she had another large gulp. How would you come up with a subject? Anything you want? Still couldn't figure out her decision. The sudden change of attitude and the vague situation made me uncomfortable. It made more sense to let her say whatever she wanted than to ask her about it. I told you before, right? My dream. After staying silent for a while, she quietly spoke. But starting a new life somewhere no one knows you. She threw the can to the ground once it was empty, making a clear clanking sound. Your money won't change anything, she said quietly. There was no anger in her voice amidst the rain, only powerless acceptance. That my father left was more than just a few 100,000. Why would I need to work this hard if that was the case? Your money can only pay for the accumulated interest at best. It's pointless. I still need to keep working, and it would never be enough. Don't look at me like that. I don't need your pity. Her face was red and I could see the effect of alcohol in her eyes. The light in them seemed to reflect all my thoughts. I'm not sure you even owe. She lit up a cigarette and tried to calculate. She gradually breathed out the smoke, then shook her head. I can't remember, but it's an amount I couldn't pay off even if I worked day and night all my life. She picked up the can and waved it left and right. She seemed to be figuring out what words to use while listening to the sound inside the can. The weak light shined on her face. She looked extra miserable from days of stress and fatigue. All these thoughts, fear, hatred and pity, all mixed up in my mind. What does it have to do with me if the world isn't fair? They should be punished for causing this mess. Even once I understood that this whole thing wasn't just a problem, I still had these thoughts every once in a while. Looking at them up wouldn't solve the problem. Without changes to the social structure, there will always be new crimes. So fucking true, right? Yet so what? We'll just focus on the problems before us and wish these people would disappear. Rather than worrying about the faraway future, we care more about the present where we reside. The alcohol spread within my mouth. It was too bitter to swallow. You know what I'm scared of the most? Waited for her to complete a sentence. Afraid of seeing myself having the same life for the next few years, or next decades, or till death. I feel like making all this money for others, like a slave. Rather just gamble it all than this. Otherwise, I'd rather just die. Couldn't retort. Where there's life, there's hope. But like such a pointless mockery. She moved on to the next bottle. I could feel the strong alcoholic scent from her and her warm breath. Want to be drunk, want to forget everything, want to let it all go. Get all these without even asking. They kept coming to our place after Dad left, smashing wine bottles, leaving paint on the wall, anything you could imagine. They even forced me to help out at a nightclub when I was around 12. Those rich people really have some fucked up fetishes. It didn't take long before my mother broke down and frequented these people daily while taking care of the kids. She covered the tragedy casually, as though it was someone else's experience. Do you know what she told us before committing suicide? She told us not to hate our father. She said we were just unlucky. She started to laugh mockingly, then continued to mumble in a trance. It wasn't that far off from a movie plot. Ja, es ist ein visual novel plot nämlich. There were tragedies around us, but they never came to our attention until we were affected. I once thought for a long time about what went wrong. Why me? Then I realized we were just born unequal. Lives are just worthless. If there is a God, then fuck him. How dare those rich people look down on me? What right can they tell us to use our brains as though they're the smart and successful ones? She got more and more agitated, trying to let go of all the injustice in her heart. What's so special about them outside of being lucky? What could they do if they lived the same life as me? The wine bottle smashed into countless pieces on the floor. Debt, the kidnapping, separation from his sibling. All of these things finally got to the girl. Her suppressed emotions all came out like a collapsed den. She panted heavily and couldn't calm down her upheaving chest. All I could do was look at her quietly without saying a word. She took a step back, then collapsed to the floor, against the wall like a wrecking ball. I wanted to start over. Jetzt kommen einfach alle CGs werden jetzt gerade rausgehauen, nochmal zum Ende hin. Habe ich schon gewundert, warum wir so wenige CGs gesehen haben. Von der Liste. Her hands hugging her legs were shaking and there was sobbing in her voice. It was the first time I saw her this fragile, like a carefully crafted glasswork. I want to forget all this. I want to restart. I want to go somewhere no one knows me. Is that so much to ask? Why can't I have something others can enjoy effortlessly? Why me? Why? She mumbled as though in a dream. Her voice gradually died down until it was not audible. She didn't ask for some outrageous lineage or rich family. All she ever wanted was a normal environment, but she couldn't get it. The world isn't fair. Some were born in third world countries and never had a chance to receive an education. Some were born handicapped and couldn't operate like others. No one can change that or deny the fact. Ja, ach, weiß ich nicht, ist okay. Ist, glaube ich, recht üblich, dass am Ende halt mehr CGs kommen oder am Anfang. Ne? Ist halt. Ist in meiner Version auch so. Also, in meiner Version kommen auch am Anfang 2 CGs und am Ende 2 CGs. Es gibt 4 CGs übrigens. 4. Ich weiß, sehr viele. Aber so ist das halt. Wenn man kein Geld hat. The father abandoned them, their mother committed suicide, the debt separated them from education, and they had nowhere to ask for help. Okay, to be fair, 4 im ersten Kapitel, aber trotzdem. Das erste Kapitel ist ungefähr so lang wie dieses Spiel, dementsprechend nimmt sich das nicht so viel. I shouldn't expect her to have the courage to challenge her sister, let alone take care of all this after going through a constantly threatened childhood. Age doesn't determine if one should take responsibility, but if one possesses respective power and knowledge. We could scold her for making that mistake, but what if she never had a choice in the matter? Breathing out some white smoke, I quietly sighed. You want to restart your life at a place that no one knows about you? That's impossible, even if you paid off the debt. We're born with too many stigmas, gender, race, looks, family. They will not leave you just because you moved somewhere else. Is that so? She replied nonchalantly. There was regret in her voice. Oder nonchalantly, I think. I don't know. Ja, das erste Kapitel ist ungefähr wahrscheinlich so lang wie das hier, würde ich sagen. Also es ist halt so, ich denke, es wird so 4 Stunden gehen, ja. 4 Stunden, wenn man es mal liest. Und ich lese es ja vor und deswegen geht's, ich sage aber, es geht ungefähr doppelt so lang, wenn ich vorlese. Und wir werden, wenn ich gleich durch bin, wahrscheinlich 7 Stunden gebraucht haben entsprechend. Ja, ich würde sagen, das ist ungefähr die Länge von dem ersten Kapitel, ja. How could these people get help? How can this unfairness be changed? Not wanting to ponder questions with no answer, I drank up from the bottle like her. I decided to worry about that once I was out of here. Deswegen dauert das erste Kapitel ja so lange. Wenn es wirklich nur eine Stunde gehen würde oder 2 Stunden, dann wäre das erste Kapitel schon länger fertig. Tatsächlich, möchte ich behaupten. Dann wäre es schon länger fertig. Oh, ich habe nicht erwartet, dass wir nochmal die Gelegenheit bekommen zu sprechen. Hey. Shocked by the rare occurrence of her talking to me, I raised my head. Oh, what you said yesterday. She pondered a little and breathed out white smoke. There was some warmth in her eyes. If there were more people like you, perhaps it wouldn't have ended up like this. Burned with the word poverty, they never get much recognition from society. If people didn't criticize others based on just financial status, perhaps they wouldn't have come to this. Is that some sort of compliment? Up to you. She didn't answer my question directly, as she nonchalantly... Das Wort kommt echt häufig vor, ne? Holy shit. Turned her head towards the window. Das ist ein Wort, was in meiner Version übrigens gar nicht vorkommt. Zumindest bisher nicht. Vielleicht baue ich es jetzt ein. Vielleicht ist das jetzt ein Wort, was ich mir kurz überlege. Das könnte ich brauchen. I don't know. Nicht wirklich. Ich verwende sehr wenige Wörter. Aber die verwenden ja auch sehr wenige Wörter. Deswegen kommt dieses Wort jetzt schon das 5. Mal oder so vor. Weil, wir alle immer nur dieselben Wörter immer wieder verwenden. So schade, wie das sein mag. So, wir können nicht mehr chatten. Wir können uns nur noch umgucken ein bisschen. Auch wenn nicht mehr viel übrig ist, glaube ich. The ink-green curtain is covered in thick dust. It is for concealing the light in the room at night. It makes creaking sound every time someone pulls it. However, if there's a need to conceal the light, does it mean there's someone else nearby? Fühlt sich nicht so an, als sollte ich das jetzt gerade mir erst angeguckt haben. Even without the packaging, I can still tell the medicine on the table are sleeping pills. There were quite a few in the house. My mother needed them to fall asleep every night. Understandable. I actually almost forgot about that. But why does she have them? Why did you buy so many sleeping pills? What, you think I'd poison you? Her response rendered me speechless. She couldn't help but start giggling. Don't worry, there are way more efficient ways to kill you than these. True, wirklich. There was a smile on her face, but she mysteriously averted her gaze. With the passage of time, the two of us fell silent. The wine glasses were empty, and the topics of conversation were exhausted. All that was left was the epilogue. You're right, time to end all this. The girl put down the can and walked toward me with a kitchen knife. Jetzt nehmen wir alle nochmal Schlaftabletten. She didn't even seem to mind the glass shards on the floor. The edge of the knife pointing at me flashed with danger. A simple push, and that would be the end of my life. She stopped suddenly. Her hands weren't trembling, nor did she seem confused. She just observed me calmly. The rain echoed in the room, along with the shallow breathing of the two of us. Aren't you scared? Are you going to kill me? I stepped back right into her gaze. In the darkness, her eyes shine like stars. In those eyes, I saw myself exhausted but fearless. You really aren't scared? Expression relaxed, and she lowered the hand that held the knife. There was a note of frustration in her voice. Fear wouldn't help much here, right? I could only reply with a bitter smile. There was no way that I wouldn't be scared by having a knife pointed at me. My hands were still trembling. But I couldn't escape nor resist. My only hope was that she wouldn't do it. I was hoping to see you shit your pants. She cut through the rope around my legs. After finally receiving freedom after all these days, I found the sensation extremely unfamiliar. Du bist mehrmals auf Toilette gegangen. Wie hast du das dann bitte gemacht? Oder waren deine Füße weiterhin gefesselt? Bist du darüber gehopst? Vielleicht. There were bruises where the rope used to be, as though they weren't part of my own body. Stood up while supporting myself against the wall. Finally looking at her from the eye level, I realized she wasn't actually that tall. Ja, ergibt Sinn, ne? She still pointed the knife at me. The dim lamplight lit her exhausted yet determined face. If you really feel there's no difference, then please help them. As she said, they are just unlucky. They're just unlucky. There was something off about her words, but I couldn't really tell what it was. The alcohol made my mind numb. Now go, follow the road and you will find houses in 10 minutes. The weakness on her face disappeared instantly and changed into the usual cold expression. What about you? Still couldn't believe she would just let me go. I have something else to take care of. Something else? None of your business. Get out before I change my mind. She decided to say nothing more and just stared at me. Was she planning to run? Or there would be someone helping her? Neither option seemed likely. Are you nuts? Do I really need to force you out? I still couldn't figure out what was wrong before she started to rush me. There were many pieces hidden in my mind, and I couldn't pinpoint the problem. It'd be strange for me to say this, but I hope your dream will come true. It will. She smiled lightly with a bizarre confidence. Whatever. Leaving those questions behind, I stepped forward. My joints felt stiff, like rusty metal, and every pull of my muscles led to a sore sensation. The small dusty room and its moldy air. Remember this place or forever forget about it like a dream. Took a deep breath, pushed open the door, and walked into the rain without turning back. The heavy rain almost instantly soaked my clothes. I couldn't help but tremble from the cold and could barely stand with my twitching thighs. One step at a time, I could barely tell what direction I was headed this late at night. Rain also fogged my vision. Thick bushes cut my skin. This walk felt like an eternity. Was I on the right track? Should I rest? There were all these doubts and questions in my mind, as though they were part of some scenery in the dream. I had the same bodiless world of darkness that would engulf everything. I raised my face and let the rain fall on it. The icy sensation sobered me up a bit. My muscles were still trembling, and I could feel my temperature dropping. I might not be able to go forward if I stopped there. Aber ja, wir haben ja echt anscheinend das Ende erreicht, oder ein Ende erreicht, bei dem wir freigelassen werden, was Sinn ergibt, weil wir die ganze Zeit nett waren. Also, war die Entscheidung. Also, mit anderen Worten, wenn ihr mal gekidnappt werdet, seid einfach nett. Seid einfach nett. Versucht einfach nicht zu entkommen und seid einfach freundlich. Kidnapper sind auch eigentlich alle ganz nett. Took a deep breath, clenched my teeth and took another step. Finally, I saw the lights in the distance. Still waking up from a dream, a wave of sensation flooded through me. All the frustration, unease, hunger and pain were as uncomfortable as fire burning, but they were all real. Finally confirmed it. I'd made it out. In that moment of relief, my body gave out and I lost consciousness. They say rain is the tears that God shed for the heartbroken. They say that rain is the water cast by the divine to cleanse our sins. The girl rested her head near the window while watching the never-ending rain. Countless memories ran through her mind. Those that she kept in mind, those that she refused to face, and those that she thought she had forgotten. She must be the medicine. She was losing a grasp on consciousness. Her head was heavy like she had a hangover. She recalled the kidnapping event, her father, and her mother who entered her life. She had hated him for abandoning them, and her for showing weakness in the face of pressure. She thought of Erling, her sister who never experienced real joy. She didn't know if her sister was doing well or if she was safe. Strangely enough, there wasn't that much emotion at that very moment. There was a little bit of regret and sadness, but nothing else seemed to matter. Finally, the person she kidnapped, she wanted to torment those self-righteous people and make them taste the same fear and hunger. Fear and Hunger übrigens. Kam heute ein Video von Super iPad 12 zu. Fear and Hunger, gutes Spiel, was ich schon länger spielen wollte. Ein RPG Maker Spiel, was wirklich, wirklich krass so aussieht, als könnte es mir gefallen. Also es könnte mir auf eine ähnliche Art und Weise gefallen wie das Made in Abyss Spiel, weil das einfach ein extrem unfaires Spiel ist, bei dem man niemals weiß, wie unfair es noch werden kann. Es wird immer und immer schlimmer und man schafft es wahrscheinlich durchzuspielen ohne 100 Versuche, ohne 100 Anläufe. Deswegen würde ich gerne mal spielen. Ich wollte es eigentlich streamen, aber ich kann es nicht streamen, weil das Spiel extrem viele Penisse hat. Aber ja, das möchte ich auf jeden Fall noch spielen und da werde ich bestimmt dann auch drüber reden, wenn ich es irgendwann mal gespielt haben werde. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich es gespielt haben werde. Ich würde gerne, aber ich weiß nicht, ob ich da die Frustrationstoleranz habe. Also, es sind hauptsächlich halt Monsterpenisse, weil es gibt viele nackte Monster, die einen angreifen. So Oger und so. Die haben große Penisse. Ja. I don't know, don't ask me. Ich habe das Spiel nicht gemacht. We aren't different, you're just unlucky. That was the first time someone had told her that. She'd been pushing herself and refused to show any weakness before others. Not until hearing that line did she realize how much she craved recognition. Ja, so in etwa. She wanted someone to tell her this wasn't her fault and that we were all the same. Even different upbringings and from different social classes, could the two truly understand each other? It was getting difficult to think. Let someone else handle the complicated questions. The last cigarette was lit, and the smell woke up her mind just a little, yet her hand could hold in it no more. She left it on the desk and let the familiar scent permeate the room. She powerlessly laid her head on the desk and saw the world turn blurry before her. The irresistible sleepiness took over her body. Ja, dachte ich mir, dass die Schlaftabletten nämlich dafür da sind, tatsächlich. So tired. She deserved a rest after doing this much, right? She couldn't even feel the cold now. Her body grew even lighter. Slowly consciousness was also leaving her. Even the sound of rain was leaving her and was replaced by a wild world. You want to restart your life in a place where no one knows about you? That's impossible, even if you've paid off the debt. His words came to mind and she weakly smiled. It's possible. Let go of all the labels and find a place to restart your life. Her eyes were closed, along with her consciousness. The girl quietly fell into a never-ending slumber, embraced by the rainy night. Ich möchte übrigens anmerken, dass es fake ist. Also wenn du eine Überdose Schlaftabletten nimmst, dann wirst du nicht einschlafen, weil die Reaktionen deines Körpers zu schmerzhaft sind, um einzuschlafen. Du wirst einfach nur an starken Krämpfen langsam krepieren. Aber das nur so. Nur bevor jemand vorhat, das auszuprobieren, das ist nicht die beste Methode dafür. Wirklich nicht. Gibt Schmerzloseres, was man machen könnte. Schlaftabletten ist fake. Funktioniert. Also funktioniert schon, du stirbst, aber ist nicht so gut. Oh, so I've heard. Ja, aber das übrigens Prolog-Manga. Es gibt einen Prolog-Manga. Damn. Das wusste ich nicht. Es ist Scale Thanks. Anime and Promotional Video Production? Wait, what? Okay. Das war Light in the Dark. What? What? Ich finde, das Ende ergibt Sinn. Also das Ende ist, ist ungefähr das Ende. Ich könnte mir kein für diese Story befriedigenderes Ende vorstellen. Ja, vielleicht ein Trailer oder so. Vielleicht gibt es irgendeinen Trailer, der irgendwie Animationen drin hat. Das wäre jetzt meine Vermutung jetzt gerade einfach. Also ja, ich finde, das ist auf jeden Fall das perfekte Ende dafür, dass wir werden freigelassen am Ende. Sie sieht ein, dass wir irgendwie nichts dafür können, dafür, dass wir Geld haben. Und sagt uns lieber, dass wir dann halt anderen Leuten helfen sollen mit unserem Geld zumindest. Was richtig ist. Please, if you have money, give your money to people who don't have money. That's nice. Finde ich gut, finde ich richtig, sollte er tun. Aber auf der anderen Seite kann er trotzdem nichts dafür und hat nicht verdient zu sterben dafür, dass seine Familie scheiße ist. Und ja, sie kriegt trotzdem kein Happy End halt, ne? Ja, ich meine, die Schwester wird wahrscheinlich ein besseres Leben vielleicht haben, halbwegs. Jetzt vielleicht kein großartiges Leben, sie wird jetzt auch nicht, ne? Aber wahrscheinlich trotzdem ein relativ ruhiges Leben, ohne in Angst leben zu müssen, größtenteils. Zumindest hatte ich das jetzt so verstanden. Dass sie dann von wem aufgenommen wurde jetzt. Ja, und sie, ne, ja. Es gibt wahrscheinlich noch ein besseres Ende irgendwo, wo wir alle retten können und alle sind glücklich. Vielleicht auch nicht. Vielleicht ist es schon das positivste Ende. Ich weiß nicht, was die anderen Enden sind. Ich denke, es wird auf jeden Fall ein Ende geben, mehrere Enden noch geben, wo man einfach umgebracht wird von ihr. Vielleicht ist das eine Ende, das eine Game Over schon ein Ende gewesen. Ich weiß aber nicht, ob das Ende zählt oder nur als Game Over zählt. Ich weiß es nicht. Aber ja. It had been a week since the day I escaped from that prison. Aber wir haben jedenfalls überlebt. Und wir sind wieder hier in diesem einen anderen Background, den es so gibt. When I woke up, I was met with a clean white ceiling and the unique disinfectant scent of a sick room. Apparently someone found me collapsed on the side of the road and sent me to the hospital before I died of hypothermia. Once I got a little better, I was bombarded by police questioning and journalist interviews. I declined them all with the excuse of my unstable mental state. Even for the statement, I only offered the bare minimum. I knew it was pointless, but I just didn't want to assist them with the investigation. It might be futile, but I didn't want to betray her trust. I want to give more thought to what to do first. However, it wasn't necessary to ask me anyway. It didn't take long before the case was closed. I wasn't shocked by the outcome since I already had a vague idea of it when I left there. However, I somehow felt something was lost. It was a bizarre sense of emptiness, as though someone had gouged out my heart. She wanted to start a new life. So that's what she meant. I moved to myself next to the window. I lit up a cigarette and placed it on the desk. There was nostalgia about the sand that I used to hate. The azure sky lightened up and a breeze was now blowing. The same sunny day where you are now. I closed my eyes and prayed for her. Oh well. Ending 1. New Start. Okay, wir haben Ending 1 tatsächlich erreicht. Krass. Die Frage ist Ending 1 das Beste? Das Ending 1. Gibt es ein bestes Ende? Kann man die so leicht bewerten? Schwierig, ne? Schwierig. Ich glaube, ich hätte halt wirklich unbefriedigend gefunden, wenn es halt irgendwie eine einfache Lösung am Ende gegeben hätte und dann wären halt alle irgendwie glücklich daraus gekommen und ja, sie hat einfach das Geld bekommen und ja. Es gibt noch Ending 0. Oh, okay. Wenn du eine Liste vorher hast, kannst du gerne durchgucken und mir sagen, ob da noch irgendwas Spannendes passiert oder ob es irgendein noch deutlich positiveres Ende gibt. Falls du dich spoilern willst und falls du nicht, weiß ich nicht, die noch auf YouTube angucken willst. Falls es die gibt auf YouTube, ich weiß es nicht. Ist jetzt keine so bekannte Visual Novel, deswegen ist jetzt nicht unbedingt notwendigerweise so, dass es die irgendwo gibt. Aber ich mag den Stil von diesem Bild hier so gerne. Also auch wie der Hintergrund gezeichnet ist. Das sieht wirklich halt so sehr gemalt aus. Das ist richtig geil. Haben die CGs von meiner Visual Novel auch. Die haben auch einen relativ gezeichneten Stil. Also, das sind ja gezeichnete Bilder alles, aber da sieht man halt wirklich noch ein bisschen so die Pinselstriche drin und so. Das finde ich, ja, für Ending muss man wohl immer das Richtige ausfinden. Achso, ja gut. Okay, dann ist das wahrscheinlich das beste Ende. Oh well, aber wir haben das zweitbeste Ende wahrscheinlich. Vielleicht. Maybe. Und das ist doch schon mal sehr zufriedenstellend, finde ich. Ja, ein paar gibt es halt noch dazwischen. Und hier vor allem am Ende noch. Ja, für die verschiedenen Enden wahrscheinlich dann. A Gleaming in the Dark. Oh. Ja, aber ich bin mit dem Ende eigentlich sehr zufrieden. Wahrscheinlich gibt es halt noch ein bisschen kleine Sachen, die wir jetzt nicht wissen, die man dann halt auch allgemein noch in anderen Enden herausfindet. Kleine Details zur Story und so. Aber ich denke, das ist einfach eine relativ twistfreie Story, die einfach so für sich steht, die hauptsächlich darauf basiert, diese Charaktere ein bisschen zu analysieren, zu beleuchten in ihren verschiedenen Umständen. Ich finde, das ist dafür ein gut gewähltes Setting. Das ist etwas, womit ich sehr viel struggle aktuell in meiner Visual Novel, dass ich ein bisschen nicht so gut rechtfertigen kann, warum die Charaktere so viel miteinander... Auf der einen Seite, die müssen halt viel miteinander reden, aber es fühlt sich auch sehr lame an, dass sie einfach so viel miteinander reden, aber auf der anderen Seite kann ich keine Begründung dafür finden, warum sie nicht einfach so viel miteinander reden sollten. Hier ist es halt, gibt es halt einen guten Grund dafür, warum sie nicht so viel miteinander reden, weil wir wurden gekidnappt. Warum sollten wir mit unseren Kidnappern reden? Auf der anderen Seite wollen die Kidnapper nicht mit uns reden für die meiste Zeit über, weil warum sollten sie? Sie haben keinen Grund dafür, mit uns zu reden. Und bei mir ist es dann halt so, ja, eigentlich könnten sie sich einfach von Anfang an alles erzählen und tun sie auch dann irgendwie nach und nach so ein bisschen, ne? Aber es ist halt schwierig, irgendwie eine Begründung zu finden, warum sie es nicht tun sollten. Deswegen, ja, ich finde das hier ein sinnvolles Setting für so eine Art von Story, in der man einfach nur Character-Stories nach und nach ausbreitet. Gemeiner zu der Schwester. Ich bin doch niemals gemein zu der Schwester. Warum sollte ich das tun? Holy shit. Ja, genau. Bei mir reden sie jetzt einfach halt miteinander. Es gibt da nicht viel. Ja, keine Ahnung. Ist vielleicht ein bisschen lame teilweise, aber ich hoffe trotzdem, dass die Story dann, die erzählt wird, trotzdem gut ist irgendwo. Wir werden es sehen in ein paar Monaten. Ich weiß es nicht. Ich kann es nicht bewerten. Könnte auch eine Scheiß-Story sein. Yeah. Also ich gebe mir auf jeden Fall gerade sehr viel Mühe. Daran arbeite ich gerade sehr stark nochmal, dass ich versuche, dass dieses erste Kapitel auch für sich schon eine halbwegs zufriedenstellende Story ist. Natürlich hat sie irgendwie einen Cliffhanger am Ende, bla bla, weil es nicht das Ende ist, sondern das erste Kapitel, aber es soll trotzdem für sich stehend sein, sodass man nicht dann denkt, okay, jetzt brauche ich unbedingt so schnell wie möglich das zweite Kapitel, um zu sehen, wie es weitergeht. Und das war jetzt noch gar nicht so eine richtige Story, das war jetzt irgendwie nur der Prolog oder so, sondern sollte schon für sich eine gute Story sein. Daran arbeite ich gerade sehr stark, dass das irgendwie funktioniert. Weil mit theoretisch gesehen, selbst dann, wenn ich niemals Kapitel 2 rausbringen sollte, was ich hab's vor, also so ist nicht, aber who knows what happens, vielleicht sterbe ich zwischendurch, zwischen Kapitel 1 und 2, vielleicht werde ich überfahren, kann passieren. Dass dann trotzdem das erste Kapitel für sich jetzt nicht so unbefriedigend ist und deswegen gebe ich mir da sehr viel Mühe, dass das auch irgendwie... Oder entführt, so genau, zum Beispiel werde ich entführt, weil ich so reich bin. Das ganze YouTube-Money hat mich zum Target gemacht. Deswegen, ja, ist auf jeden Fall, was ich versuche. Gut. Aber dann würde ich sagen, würde ich es dabei belassen wahrscheinlich. Wir sehen uns auf jeden Fall nächsten Freitag. Behaupte ich. Mal gucken, was ich tue, was es wird und wie es wird und alles. Aber es wird bestimmt schön. Genau. Oder vielleicht streame ich auch Mittwoch. Vielleicht streame ich Mittwoch einfach crazy, aber das ist halt die Frage, wie viele Leute können Mittwoch? Weiß man nicht. Könnt ihr euch dann früher anfangen? Vielleicht auch nicht. Muss man sehen. Ich überleg's mir noch. Was passiert. Aber ja. Danke fürs dabei sein und gute Nacht noch. Ich gucke jetzt die neue Folge von Heavenly Delusion, die, soweit ich weiß, heute rausgekommen sein sollte. Genau. Ciao.